Yoda.
I'm your huckleberry.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Greetings and salutations.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You're excited. Feel these nipples.
That boy's good. Good and terrible.
Well, I have a microphone, and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say.
This is the Mike Rutherford Show on the Big X.
Sportos and motorheads, geek bloods, wastoids, dweebies, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Welcome to the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133.
All right. Welcome to everybody. It is Wednesday, November 12th. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. We're coming to you live from the world-famous University of Louisville College of Business Studios here in the heart of victorious Louisville, Kentucky. Cards fans, take accounting to a whole new level with U of L's Masters in Accounting and Analytics. In-depth data analytics courses allow you to achieve a new mastery of accounting in this AACSB accredited program. 11-month competitive internship opportunities and full access to the Becker CPA exam review. Prepared to graduate career ready in just 12 months. Visit business.louisville.edu to learn more. We're on the air today from 2:32 until 5:30 here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming across the land, including on the Big X Sports Radio YouTube channel, airing live on WBNA Channel 21. You know it's better as the Big X. Had a good night last night. About to have a better afternoon. It is Mike Rutherford, Roman Kelly. We got producer Matt Childress in the house as well. And for the next 3 hours, it's going to be one of those shows. It's going to be one of those afternoons. Louisville, the mighty Cardinals, kings of the Commonwealth once again. For the first time since we've been doing this radio show, we get a men's basketball victory over Kentucky celebration show. My God, it's going to feel good. Let's enjoy it for the next 3 hours together. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line if you want to celebrate with us, or if you're a UK fan licking your wounds and you want to say, hey, we're dumb, we're sad, we're sorry, we're ridiculous, we apologize. We'll take those texts as well today. We're going to have a lot of fun. Cannot wait to talk more about it. Before we start the conversation, we say hi to our guy, Roman Kelly. You just heard him on Running with Roman for the last 30 minutes. You'll hear him again on the Ticket Punchers from 5:30 to 6. Roman! How we feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great, Mike. I'm feeling great. Got the job done. First time since 2020. It feels so good. I was just telling Matt, it feels like it's been longer than that. For some reason, just like internally, it feels like it's been like longer than 5 years.
Well, because the last 5 years felt like 55 years.
Yeah,
basically.
that's what it is. Great point there. But it feels really good. It feels good to say we've got the best win in college basketball right now. That feels great. Just beat the number one team in Ken Palm. That feels great. Not anymore. They beat. Last night we were beating the number one team in Ken Palm, up 18 on them, and I just recollecting on that in live time after we lost that lead. Got a little bit scary there.
We never lost it. Nothing was ever
that deficit. They fought back within that deficit though, unfortunately. Because I felt like we should have ended that game with a much higher score based on how it really felt and looked for the majority of it.
It was never close.
Never close.
Don't worry about it.
They never had a chance. But it feels really, really good, Mike. It feels good. It feels like a weight taken off your shoulder a little bit. And I say shoulder instead of shoulders because like I need like 3 more. I need more. I need more. This is just the start. I believe in the law of averages. Actually, that's like my religion almost. I feel like not really, but it's something that I hold very dear for whatever reason. And I feel like this is the switch, Mike. This is the switch where things start shifting. 40-17 for a rivalry that means this much for teams that have been, I feel like, closer than not more than 40 times. It's time for the tide to shift in our direction now, and I feel like it did last night.
23 consecutive victories on the horizon.
That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
Not even 23 straight years, because we're going to meet him a couple times in the tournament. We're going to win those games, too. 2 decades.
Play the game on Halloween next year. Put it even earlier.
I mean, yeah, if I'm Josh Hurd, I'm saying, guess what? We got a November rivalry now. It's whatever you want to call it. We're going from that week between Christmas and New Year's. It's now an election day rivalry. We're an election rivalry. We love politics in the state, even though our races are never really interesting. But,
Josh, do what you have to do to make this the first college basketball game played of the season that counts.
yeah,
Do what you got to do.
but 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. I don't give a damn.
It felt really good to watch it happen, watch it all unfold. Michael Brown Jr. is just absolutely unreal. His ability to pass the ball, his ability to score the ball, to get downhill, to get to the rim, to shoot, to use either hand with whatever decision he makes to do out there. It's really a joy to watch, Mike.
You know what he kind of reminds me of? I was thinking about this last night.
It's like I got like
John Wall. A little
like
bit.
three
little,
players.
little bit of John Wall.
Little John Wall in
A little
there.
bit of John Wall in there. And, you know,
He's like
some people said that a while ago.
he's like Allen Iverson a little bit too.
A little bit of Ivory. He's like a hybrid.
It's like
John
Iverson
Wall,
and Halliburton mixed together a little.
maybe a little Jordan tossed in there.
Yeah.
Bit of LeBron into his game. You know, maybe peak Wes Unseld. A little bit of Kareem tossed in there. That's kind of what I see when I watch Michael Brown Jr. play basketball. Producer Matt Childress is here as well. Producer Matt, how we feeling?
I don't think you could possibly feel any better than I feel right now. I mean,
Oh
running
my
off
God.
of like 3 hours of sleep.
Oh, I couldn't sleep last night.
I fell asleep. Phone wasn't even plugged into the charger. Didn't set an alarm by accident. I woke up because my dog dropped its bone out of its crate and started barking. And I was thinking, oh, it's probably like 3 a.m. It was 6:19. I had to get up and get ready for work.
It doesn't matter, though.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, I was up till, like a lot of people, I'm just, I'm liking everything on Instagram. I'm liking everything on Twitter. I'm pulling up apps I've never even heard of before because people are sending me stuff on there. I'm liking that stuff. I'm watching everything I can watch. I'm replaying the game. Yeah, the morning comes a little bit earlier, but you know what happens when I wake up this morning? The sun's a little bit brighter. That air, it's a little bit sweeter.
It's warmer.
It does naturally warmer outside. The coloring on the leaves right now, a little bit redder, if you will. The northern lights were showing off last night. The sky was even a little bit red. And waking up in this city, the best part after a night like last night is you just have this inherent knowledge that everybody knows what happened last night. Like everybody in the world, everybody in this area, even if they don't care about the game, they're aware that Louisville last night beat Kentucky in a game of basketball. And you just kind of walk around and you're like, that guy knows. That girl knows. That 3-year-old knows. They know. They know who won. I'm dropping my kid off. He's got his Louisville jersey on. I got my Louisville sweatshirt on. First of all, we walk in the door, and my mom usually is at the door. She hurt her leg over the weekend, so she's staying home for this week. And I won't name names, but the woman at the door, she's like, hey, tried to listen to your podcast this morning with my daughter in the car. Made it 35 seconds. And I was like, I'm so sorry. We were pretty excited. She's like, I texted my husband that, and he said you should have just stayed up after midnight like him and listened to it then. But the amount of people last night that were celebrating, the amount of people this morning that were celebrating, I mean, the text that I've gotten from people who, are like national folks who are just like, man, I can't imagine how excited you are. Can't imagine what the buzz is like in the city right now. It almost was, I know the rivalry felt very weird for all of us to be taught. It still feels weird. It's kind of like when the time first changes and you're like, is it 6 o'clock? Is it 11:30? What the hell time is it? I'm like, is it mid-December now? I feel like I'm going to be recalibrated. But I think this game got more attention played last night than it typically does between Christmas and New Year's. I've said this for years, and I'm not even advocating for it to be at the beginning of November, although if we keep winning, I don't care. Keep it there forever. But I've always said we play the game at the worst possible time. December's the worst month for college basketball. There aren't that many big games because nobody wants to play home games when the students are home for winter break. You've got bowl games taking priority. You've got the college football playoff now taking priority. You've got the playoff push in the NFL. Nobody's paying attention to college basketball in December, so the game always gets lost in the shuffle. You had a lot of people talking about this game last night. You had a lot of focus. There was nothing really else gigantic going on. No major college football. It was the biggest game of the night in college basketball. And I think it also helped that you had some other crazy things happening. People were like, this is the first night where it feels like the college basketball season. and Louisville, Kentucky was the primary focus of it all. I feel like this game in the last 12 hours or so has gotten more attention played when it was than it would have if it had been played at December 27th, December 28th.
I agree.
This is one of those shows where you don't even know where to start. You're like, do we just get into the game? Do we talk about the significance?
We talked about 10% of what we should have in the Run It with Roman show.
We could talk about this for 8 hours. Here's what I'll start with. Even before we knew the outcome, early on the first, I'll say 2 segments, I was taken by how different Louisville looked in this particular game than it has more times than not every year, but more times than not over the past 25 years, basically like my whole life.
They were ready.
They were ready. They were the aggressor. They had, I thought, the superior game plan, which we'll talk about more as the show goes on. And they just, it was bottled aggression. It was controlled aggression. They were focused, but they also were like more physical, more aggressive, more hungry.
Wanted it more, yes.
And I don't think we've said that about Louisville very often in this rivalry game. It always feels like one of 2 extremes. Either they look a little bit panicked, like just unsure of themselves, and kind of we're playing our game, but we're just sort of hoping that something's going to happen for us that's good. Or it's been what Charlie Strong used to call the fake Jews, where we're talking a lot of smack, we're kind of pushing them around, we're getting into it with Kentucky, they're getting into it back, but you can tell that we're not fully there. This was we're going to win this game, we've got the better game plan, we've got the better team, oh, by the way, we've got the best player on the floor, let's go out there and take it from them. And they played that way for 40 minutes. It was not a perfect game, but my God, like they looked like the superior side from start to finish. And I think that's the most encouraging thing about last night's performance if we're talking big picture. They were better than Kentucky. And it wasn't this fluky, we shot 32.5% from 3. I know early on we were crazy hot and we were playing the way that we wanted to play, but we were 13 of 40 from 3. It wasn't like, oh, they'll never shoot this way again. It was a bad shooting night for this team. I think we'll look back at this and say 13 of 40 is below what this team is going to typically shoot on most nights this season. The thing that I think did stand out, and you're like, man, this was to play at that pace for 40 minutes and turn the ball over 6 times against that Kentucky team, which is the defense is going to be the backbone of that team, I thought was remarkable. And it all starts with Michael Brown. Roman, I'll let you go first here. Michael Brown last night, 29 points. We don't even need to read the stats. He's the best player on the floor. After going 15, 16, 17, however many years it's been, seeing freshman after freshman after freshman on the other side step up and just be better than everybody we've got. How awesome does it feel to have that guy now wearing red, black, and white?
It feels unreal a little bit, Mike. It feels like something I haven't actually experienced before, if I'm being honest. That like a player at that age, at that caliber, because we haven't seen it. It's not like, oh, it's he just had a great freshman year. We're thinking he's going to be one of the best players in college basketball this season going into his sophomore year. We don't even know what all he can truly do because, one, he's getting better, one, he's growing, but his game doesn't have a ceiling to it. He can be the best shooter in the nation one night. He can be the best passer in the nation one night. He can be the best all-around guy on the floor one night. It's limitless because of his skill set. But for him to, at this age, at this point in his career, having only played a game that didn't count against a player that you've been going up against in terms of rankings and mock drafts and lists for the last year now, kind of fall into the moment of that and then getting to showcase what you can do against games that aren't going to be a true indicator of what games are going to look like for your team as a whole. In the very first matchup against a quality opponent with quality defenders playing at a really aggressive level, Mike, I mean, for as much as we talked about the perimeter defense out there for the Kentucky team, and granted, we did a good job of getting by them, they tried to play really aggressive and use their bodies up out on the perimeter a lot. And couple times he looked like a couple moments he made the freshman decision, but basically for the entirety of the game, he knew what to do every single time. And that's just rare for the point guard position, one, for anybody. For a young point guard, it's extremely rare, and in that kind of a game where the motions are so heightened, the intensity is so heightened, at that position, the ball's in your hands so much, you know you're the best player on the floor, to not just say, oh, let me go out there and make it happen for us every time down and play within the game plan, play within your teammates, do all the little things you've got to do to help get your guys open shots and to help get your team to sustain the momentum they've got. That was just unreal. It felt like I was watching a 4-year point guard last night.
By the way, his dad tweeted an hour ago. He retweeted. Michael was on SportsCenter last night after the game. He dropped the information that Pat Kelsey wanted to get the GAT song played during in the locker room. But his dad retweeted that video and just said, "Hello, America. Meet Michael Brown Jr. By the way, I didn't think he had a great game. Thought it was good enough to get the win. 3 of 10 from 3 says a lot of food left on the table." I love this is classic dad stuff. He wasn't even that good. He's really good, but he didn't play that good in this game. I was taking it, and Matt, I want to get your thoughts on this in just a second. But I was the moment of the game, and I don't think there's any debate about this. So UK fights back. They start hitting shots from the outside. We start pressing maybe a little bit. I didn't think that we full-on panicked. I thought we just didn't play particularly well, and they hit some crazy shots. But you get the game down to 4, and Jalen Lowe gets fouled, and we go to the under 4 timeout. He starts jawing with the fans, by the way, after this happens. He's basically calling a shot. Like, I got you. The game's over. You all are on skates. Let's go. Come out of the timeout. Lowe misses the free throw, and then we have a possession where there's nothing really going. It gets down to 10 seconds. You've got Lowe on Brown, and it's the classic situation that I think we've been on the other end in this rivalry for so long, where it's like, all right, have your future NBA guy just go make a play. And at some point, that's what it boils down to. Dudes have to go make plays when the games are on the line. We see it every year in the NCAA tournament. There's so much scouting. There's so many different half-court sets. It's such a chess match. A lot of times the games just end up to, hey, be a dude, go out there and get it done. Michael goes to the left, gets fouled, finishes with the left, finishes the and one.
Off the glass.
Next possession, we're like, all right, go give it back to that guy again. He gets fouled, makes 2 free throws. It's never a 2-possession game again from that point forward. It reminded me so much of a lot of Louisville, Kentucky games over the past 16 years where they've gotten out to a big lead. They've kind of done their thing. They've let their stars be stars. We've chipped away. We've kept fighting. And you're right there, and you feel like you're within striking distance. And right when you got a shot to get over the hump, you don't take advantage of a moment, and they just give the ball to, John Wall, Brandon Knight, Shea, all these guys that they've had over the years. Jamal Murray, and they're like, hey, go make a play. And then they break our hearts. To be on the other side of that, I thought was so, just wonderful. And it's also comforting for the remainder of the season to have a guy that even though he's 19 years old, isn't going to balk in those types of situations. Because guess what? We're going to be in those types of situations several more times if this year goes the way that we all want it to go. I mean, producer Matt, Michael Brown last night, a performance for the ages. I think we'll remember this regardless of how the rest of the season plays out. We'll remember what he did in the rivalry for a long time. Your thoughts on having this guy in our uniform?
I know Kentucky fans have been worried so far under Mark Pope. The one thing they have worried about is he hasn't had a signature signing yet, right? Like, he hasn't gotten the guy that the one thing they loved about Cal was he got the signature signings. You knew they were getting the biggest dudes in the recruiting portal, the recruiting cycle every single year, and he hasn't had one yet. So when we get Michael, I mean, we just don't get guys like this.
No,
we just don't. We've had the VJ Kings, we've had the
We have had the
VJ Kings. We've had the Wayne Blackshears who didn't
the Quan Aarons. Same thing.
It was so refreshing to see a dude like Michael, who is a freshman, as so young as he is, and so hungry, and be a guy who, like you said, just go out there, and when you're watching him, every time the ball in his hands, my blood pressure goes down.
Yeah.
It's like, there's not a lot of teams out there in the country who have a player like that.
I start grinning a little bit.
Literally, I get excited. I'm like, what a crazy thing is he going to do now? Like me and Rowan were talking about before the show, like the in-between-the-legs pass he gives to Fruid late in the game. I was like, the thought in your head you have in that moment to be like, I can give Fruid 0.5 seconds to get open, and I don't even have to pick up my dribble and get this to him. The dude is so locked in, and now I fully understand why Kentucky fans are so aggravated they haven't gotten a guy like this yet, because he's just him. Like, he is the guy, and it makes dudes like Ryan Conwell look 1,000 times better, who are already great. But if you're Ryan Conwell, how are you not confident you're going to go out and ball out every night, where when you are right next to probably the best point guard in the draft coming this year?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it.
There's one more play, Mike and Matt. I want to ask, point out that just showcases that Mike Kelly really is a different level of a passer. Obviously, the through the legs, the pocket pass to get it to Khalifa, so he has a chance there, giving himself more space.
Can I guess what you're going to say?
Yes.
Where he goes underneath the basket.
Oh, my
And it looks like he's going to
You're
throw
either
the
going
pass
to
to
turn the ball
guy.
over or travel right here with that kind of decision, and he slows down his speed, purposely takes longer strides to get himself that extra couple of inches, gets that second defender in, because you don't pick your dribble up underneath the basket like that, past it on the baseline, because you're not going to have a decision to make there. And he gets the dump off to Khalifa right there, wide open. Or it might have been Frew. But to keep your composure in that moment, like so many players in the NBA are just going to throw the ball off the defender right there and take the out-of-bounds play, right?
There was another pass that I'm thinking of where he did the same thing. He goes baseline, he goes under the basket.
That was to Woolley, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Conwell, it looks for a second like he's open. I think it's low, cheats over to cut off what is the obvious pass when Michael kind of gets in a situation where it's like, all right, he's got a pass, he can't score from this area. He hangs in the air and fires a bullet pass to the top of the key, or like it's kind of the right center of the key, to Woolley. He misses the shot, so it won't go on any of the highlight tapes. But that was the play where I was like, if I'm Danny Ainge or any of the NBA scouts that are watching, that's what you want from an NBA point guard.
Some young CP3.
And I think that if he doesn't bobble that pass, he probably makes it. I don't think Woolley was prepared to get a ball like that in that situation.
Everyone thought a turnover was coming. And for him to play in a game of that magnitude where, emotions ride high, and for him to play as many minutes as he did, what did he end up playing? 33?
32, or yeah.
The first time he sat on the bench, I was like, all right, Pat, we this can't be one of those games. We need this guy out here for 30-plus minutes.
When he got a cramp, I almost cried.
So I'm going to go into it. I was about to say this. And this is maybe this is me rivalrying today, but whatever. If there's a day to do it, it's right now. I kind of think the only reason the game got close for a little bit is the Michael cramping. He cramps up, which, by the way, the whole city just is paralyzed with fear for a solid 30 seconds until you see that it's just cramps. Even when he comes back in the game, he's not moving the way that he was. He's not even really looking to penetrate, because you can tell he just doesn't have that same bounce. He didn't try until late in the game where it was like, all right, you can't worry about not feeling well. You got to go out there and make a play. And that was when Kentucky made its big run. He was, he was not nearly as lethal on offense during that stretch. I think if that doesn't happen, it never gets that close, and we kind of keep them at arm's length even when they're making shots, and we run away and we win this thing by 12, 14 points. Feel pretty strongly about that, but sounds like a rivalry take. But him cramping up was the break that they needed, and they still couldn't take advantage enough of it. But he was sensational last night. We know how good Michael is. So to see him play that way, don't get me wrong, it was incredible. But I think you expected him to have a game like this in this type of setting at some point this season, whether it was last night or against Duke at some point or whoever. I think maybe the biggest thing for last night in terms of our outlook for the remainder of the season is the way our bigs played, specifically Sonata Frew. Because you want to talk about the surprise of all surprises last night.
He won Trevor over last night.
Dude, we had the better big men last night.
But I didn't think it was particularly that close.
I don't know.
Brandon Garrison was terrible. Mo Diabate was kind of sloppy at times.
He started off like he was going to be a scary aspect of this game and didn't
do anything.
Javon kind of adjusted to that.
Malachi Moreno looked like a freshman.
And look, Kelsey's been saying for the last week or so, I know the stats aren't saying it, but we track different levels of efficiency stats, and he's grading out as one of our best players. He's setting screens. He's in the right place. He's cutting off drives. He's just not putting up the types of numbers that fans like to see. And last night he played that way, but he also put up the numbers that fans like to see. The single most impressive thing for him last night, I couldn't get over how good his hands were. Mm-hmm. We talk about Michael's passes. those don't go down as assists if Frew doesn't catch the ball below his waist, which is something we never saw from James Scott last season, and something that I don't think we were sure that Frew could do before last night. There were passes in traffic where they're placed perfectly, but you still got to catch and finish in one motion. He hadn't done that.
There's a couple of the opposite, too, where the ball's just kind of loose. It's anybody's ball. And he's able to
he's the first guy to
get
get
a fingertip to it and corral it.
His last offensive rebound kind of put the game away. He had a couple blocks. He was in the right position. He was phenomenal last night. Passed the ball well. We know Khalifa can pass. Frew had 3 assists last night. And he was getting as much credit from Billis and Schulman as Khalifa was. Like, these bigs can pass the ball. That right there, that gives you hope that this can be not just a fun team that can outscore a lot of guys. Like, this can be a national title winning team if you have that type of front court play. We'll continue to gush over this after the break. Cards over Cats. Let's keep talking about it. It's the Mike Rutherford Show here on 1450 and 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. And UK sucks it. We won and UK sucked it. We won because UK sucks at. We won because UK sucks at basketball. Oh, we are the best team in the state. Not my best work. It's okay. Doesn't matter. I don't care. The vibes are astronomically good right now. 3 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. It's a celebration of the fact that Louisville is the kings of the Commonwealth once more. Cards take down the Cats. Kentucky sucks. Louisville's awesome. That's all that matters right now. Producer Matt Childress in the house. Producer Roman Kelly in the house as well. We're having fun with you guys we will have fun with you guys on the Game Day Men's Health text line at 502-414-1450 here momentarily. But we were talking in the first segment about all the obvious things. Michael Brown, phenomenal. Louisville front court, phenomenal. We didn't mention this, but I thought Ryan Conwell getting the game off to a good start, kind of calming everybody's nerves.
Savvy, poised.
So good.
Creates a turnover on the first play, knocks down a three on the first possession, hits another three a couple minutes later. That was huge to get us off to a good start.
Force me right, I'm going to still get to that left.
I mean, he was terrific in the game.
How many of those big games have we had, most moments where you wanted that to happen, and then we didn't, and we started like down 0-7?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every UK U of L game, you've got the one guy that you don't want taking a three, launching a three, missing it long by 4 feet, and then everybody just gets nervous. Did not happen last night. Part of the reason why I didn't think it happened last night, I want to talk about UK for a second. I was very surprised by the game plan that they had. I mean, I talked on the show yesterday saying we want to push pace. We want to push pace against everybody. I think we especially want to push pace in this game. And if you're Kentucky, I think you want to make it more of a half-court game. That accentuates your strengths more. I think it also gives you a better chance to slow down Louisville and not let their great three-point shooters get clear looks. Before the game, I'm watching Dan Schulman and Jay Billis talk about their conversations with both coaches, and they're like, both coaches said the exact same thing. There's going to be a lot of running and a lot of scoring, and I was like, okay. And if they want to run with us, I think that's an error in judgment. And this goes back to something that we talked about on the show during the summer. With this specific roster, Mark Pope's he can't just do the same things that he's done to have success at BYU and Utah Valley and UK last year because he doesn't have the pieces. He needs to do what Kelsey did last year, which is alter some of his core philosophies to play to his current team's strengths. He didn't do that last night. They basically came out with the exact same game plan as us. And the problem is our teams have very different makeups. So they come out the first possession, their first defensive possession. They double Frew in the post. And I was like, yeah, I mean, okay. And Frew just kick. It gets a pretty simple possession for Louisville. Dump it in. They double. You kick it back out to Ryan Conwell for a clean three. He buries it. That's what we want you to do. If I'm Kentucky, I'm saying I'm selling out to not let Brown, McNeely, Woolley, and Conwell beat us from the outside. I'm playing off their bigs. I'm playing off guys like Kenai Roots. I'm playing off guys like Javon Hadley, and I'm trying to crowd the paint, force them to be drivers, and then force them to finish over our bigs. And if guys like, I know Frew hit a three last game, but if guys like Frew, Khalifa, Roots, and Hadley are going to beat us from the outside, you tip your cap and you say, so be it. They were extending on our bigs the entire game, and I didn't get that at all. Like, what good does Brandon Garrison do you playing 20 feet away from the basket, guarding Sananda Frew up close, or guarding Ollie? Like, we want you up tight on Ollie Khalifa. We want you to overextend and create that backdoor option, and we took advantage of it a number of times. And I just did not get what they were doing. It didn't seem to make sense there. And then you look conversely at our game plan. We essentially were like, all right, if they're going to beat us with jump shots from the outside, we'll tip our cap. But guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to let Otega Owe get downhill. We're going to cut off every Jalen Lowe drive and not foul him and not let him finish at the rim. Watch any defensive possession that we had when Owe was in the game and they put him in the corner. We just left him alone. We're like, cool.
Yep.
If you catch it, we don't care about being right there on the catch.
We dare you.
We're making sure you're not catching and driving baseline or driving middle. And he took 6 pretty unchallenged threes. He made one of them. That was it.
Most heavily contested one of all of them.
Yeah, that was the game plan. Now, it changed a little. If I'm Kentucky and that's our game plan, I'm bringing Cam Williams into that game much earlier, especially when it looks like Owe and company aren't hitting from the outside. They brought him in the second half. He played very well. He helped create that gap or knock down that gap from 20 points all the way down to 4, but it was kind of too little too late there. Jasper Johnson, we were playing up on him. He didn't have it last night. I correctly called that Aberdeen was going to be the guy to go off. I think he's a good player, but you limited. He scores 26, but he took 20 shots to get there. I think you're mostly okay with that. And then Colin Chandler hit some ridiculous shots. The last one,
crazy deep.
I was pretty calm for the most part during the comeback. The last one and I know it was a crazy deep and it was pretty well defended, but like I see him coming off the screen. I see that he's got space. I literally just scream, "Not him!" before the pass is even made. And then he splashes it to make it a 4-point game. I still think for the most part we did a good job on them. I did not think that Mark Pope coached to his team's strengths last night.
No.
And Pat Kelsey did.
Would have had Diabate being the playing through Diabate at the top of the key if you're going to try to get guys downhill, because then you can at least screen off the ball and give them some space. It's like he doesn't really know his personnel all that well yet.
Having Diabate and Garrison out there together.
Can't do it.
Yeah. You're really hindering what your offense does well. Especially, I mean, I know Lowe made the early three. Sorry, UK fan. He's not a lethal outside shooter. He's never going to be a lethal outside shooter. And if you don't have two other guys on the floor at the same time, you become far more easy to defend than you should be. Again, I thought we had the superior game plan. I thought we executed the game plan better. I think Mark Pope is going to have to change some of the things that he likes to do historically if he's going to get the most out of this team. Maybe that changes when Jaden Quaintance comes back. I don't know. But I was very surprised at a handful of the things that they did last night because it played right into our hands. And it was the big reason why we got up by 18 in the first half and why the reason we were up 20 in the second half. Any of this surprise you, Producer Matt, looking at the way that UK came out and tried to attack us or the way that they tried to stop us?
So I know that Mark Pope has come out multiple times and talked about how they want to shoot 30-plus threes in a game. That's their goal. They want to do that. They want to be able to assert themselves as a shooting team, but this is just not a shooting team. That's
Recruit better shooters.
Exactly. Pick, grab shooters. Jalen Lowe is not one of them.
No.
I want to. My favorite thing about last night was that Louisville fans got to go to social media and just be like, "Ha, we told y'all all about Jalen Lowe. We said it." And for the man to hit a three, get an and one, congratulations, and then do the spider celebration, and then get 5 more points the rest of the game on 30 minutes.
I mean, the preemptive chest thumping that Kentucky fans were doing over Jalen Lowe, they're like, he's the best guard in the game. We told y'all about J. Lowe. Here we go. And I think every Louisville fan was like, all right, just wait. He did this in the first half in both games last year against us. By the way, while those offensive plays are happening, he's a complete rock on defense. We're going around him and
he's a traffic cone.
He's a terrible defensive player, which we also told you was going to be the case.
Halfway through the game, they stopped forcing. We had to get him onto Michael Brown. He was holding Javon Hadley or Isaac B. Neely. The dude, if you're looking at guard-to-guard play, almost single-handedly gave up 53 points to point guard you.
He can. I mean, in the last, so what? He was on Rain in the first game last year, and I think Rain hit 6 threes. He was on Chucky in the second game last year, and Chucky scored 36. Mm-hmm. Now he's on Michael primarily in this game. Michael scores 29. He also was on Conwell for the last Conwell, the big bucket. And then
that was such a good
And then he's
bucket.
got Donovan Mitchell, one of the 10 best basketball players in the entire world, hitting him with the 2 small. It's a bad night for Jalen Lowe at that point.
That was the best, because Donovan Mitchell, first off, hats off. I know that he's always loved U of L. This man didn't sit down off the floor.
The whole game.
It was like, the meme of, like, the legendary last LeBron versus Kobe All-Star that Drake ruined because he's like clapping. Yeah. That's Donovan Mitchell last game. There's probably so many clips of Michael driving on somebody and then Donovan's just jumping up and down in the background. God, I love it.
He was like shouting at guys like he knew the defensive sets and stuff. Like,
he was basically coach.
He was part of the game. And then as soon as the final whistle, immediately walks onto the court like he was
just walks onto the court. Well, did you see what happened too? So the game ends. Ryan Conwell immediately goes over to Donovan and dabs him up and is talking to him. Yeah. And some of the players start going over there, and Donovan go celebrate with your team. You can tell he tells Conwell hey, go. I know I'm cool, but go over there, and the other guys that were headed towards Donovan, like Cole Sherman was like, this is my moment. They all go back and start celebrating together, and then they go shake hands. But it was cool also. Donovan made sure that he congratulated every single player, every manager, every coach when they were walking in, and then went to celebrate with the team in the locker room. But yeah, I mean, him being my wife, she loves stuff like that. She kept just being like, "Look at Donovan." I'm like, "Stop! I'm watching the game." she's like, he's so into it. But that was very cool to see. But just Jalen Lowe, he had Like, basically from the moment that he screamed at the fans when he thought he was going to lead, he could not have gone worse for him after that point. He misses the 1-and-1, the front end. He gets blown by on defense in 2 possessions in a row. He steps out of bounds. He commits another turnover after that. He gets hit with a too little by a 5-time NBA All-Star. And then he gets taken out of the game with a minute and a half to go, and UK's still within striking distance. That's a bad string
He
of
gave
events.
up both game-ending plays, like the one against Mike Hell, like you said, when we were only up 4, and he gets the really tough and one to kind of seal it. Like that was the one to calm everybody's nerves. But then they go back, they score. I think they score again, and then Ryan Conwell on the other end. There's just nowhere to go, and Ryan Conwell's like, I'm gonna go get a bucket, and then goes straight into Jalen Lowe's chest, backs him down. And that's like you said, that's this play where he hits him with the too little, and it was just like that was the one where I was sitting there smiling ear to ear, be like, "Gosh, we told you so."
We never got to fully experience the love-hate relationship that we knew was going to happen between UK fans and Kirk Kriisa last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a chance to experience it with Jalen Lowe and BBN this year because they're going to want him to be the type of player that he's never going to be. He'll win them some big games because he's electric with the ball in his hands. He's got a remarkably quick first step. He's great at getting into the lane, and he's a very good passer. But he also, decision-making has been consistently bad for 3 years now. He's not a reliable outside shooter, and he couldn't guard the 3 of us in any sort of one-on-one situation. And that's going to drive UK fans insane this year, and I can't wait to sit back and watch it every single game because he'll win them some big games, and people are like, this is the good. He's a slightly craftier Edgar Sosa. Remember how much Louisville fans, like, there were games that Edgar Sosa went out there and won for us. There were way too many that Edgar Sosa let the other team get into the game. He will be that type of player for BBN this year.
Well, what's going to be worse? Kentucky fans hearing that people compare Michael Brown to John Wall, or that you compare Jalen Lowe to Edgar Sosa. Which one do you think?
Well, I'm 1 for 1. I feel like so. I think I'm going to go 2 for 2 with this. By the way, the John Wall comparison, go back and listen to it. It was more about the impact. But if you guys wanted to take that and run with it, he played better in this game than John Wall did in 2009. I feel pretty confident in saying that.
If we're looking at Michael's numbers as well, like Roman pointed out in his show that there were a few times where he made the freshman mistake, and you could tell the moment was in there for him. He wanted to hit the big shot, so he rushed something. He did it like 2 or 3 times. So he shot 3 for 10 from 3. If you take those away, I mean, you're 3 for 7. That's a really good shooting night. It's crazy to say, but his dad's right. Michael could go out there and play better than he did. But if that is like what we're gonna get on a Michael off night, he's a demon.
I don't think it was an off.
It's not an off night.
I'm
off shooting night.
I know his dad holds him to a very high standard. This was a very, very good game. Was it perfect? No.
You need to be going 4 for 10.
My status as the Michael Whisperer. I was texting Roman this during the game. He's the guy that I've got the read on. I know almost every single time whether his outside shot. There was one that I missed, and it was Roman correctly called it. The one that he was wide open from the corner. I was like,
before the half.
Yeah, right before the half. I was like, he's got it.
I think everybody thought that was going on.
I think we all did.
I stood up, threw my 3 up.
But he when he's falling back, that's when he misses short. When he can make moving slightly to his left or his right. He's good off the bounce. But when he's fading a little bit, those are the ones that we haven't seen him make. But when he's in rhythm, I don't care how deep it is. Like the one that he had to put us up by 18 where the place just went absolutely nuts. I've never been more confident in a shot going into my life. I was like, ooh, that's too much space. That's too much. Take it. Splash. I mean, place goes absolutely electric. That was such a cathartic moment for the KFC Yum Center. We've talked about big-time moments that this team has had, and so many of them have come away from home. The Atlantis game against Indiana, that crazy sequence where our fans are going nuts. But it was like, 80 fans in the Bahamas. Last night, I know first sellout that we've had since 6 years. They maybe said that 35,000 times during the game. But it felt like it. And I know that, Kentucky fans were in there. They're always in there. I heard Bob Valvano talking about after the game. He's like, I actually think it's the least amount of Kentucky fans that I've seen at one of these games since I've been doing this job, which isn't just in the Kenny Payne, Chris Mack era. Bob's been doing this for a long time. But it was mostly Louisville fans, and they were insane. And it was perfectly insane. I know UK fans are all upset about them chanting, the student section chanting FUK while they were warming up. Look, we needed to do something different. It worked. It's a rivalry
Thank
for
you,
God's
Case and
sake.
Fire. Thank you putting the edge out there.
By the way, the Kaysen tweet after the game was also. I was very proud of Kaysen.
Yeah.
In all respects last night. He came in, you could tell he was juiced up, but didn't do too much. And I think you could also tell that Kelsey was like, all right, we don't, like, the risk outweighs the reward when
This
it comes
isn't your
to playing
moment.
Kaysen. This is, he'll have his moment this year.
I thought the 2 minutes earned him another 2 minutes, though. Got an offensive rebound, made a couple of good passes.
We were doing fine without him. And I had friends who were like, why aren't we playing Kaysen more? I'm like, because we're up by 16. We don't need to play Kaysen. If we needed to play him, we would have played him. But I was very proud of him after the game, coming out and tweeting, basically doing the Tyrese Halliburton tweet after the Olympics where he didn't play, where he said, "What I showed up to the group project with a pencil and a good attitude and still got an A+." Like, maybe this is a new Kaysen. Maybe Kaysen's going to be fully just. He was a consummate teammate last night. And I think that was a good thing to see. And yeah, he wasn't too fired up. The upset of all upsets last night, we had no sort of skirmish. There was no sort of pushing.
Nothing.
It
blew my mind.
same. I mean, I talked to a lot of people that were in the building.
Hadley and somebody had a little
Well,
back.
there were like going to be words, but there was never even like a shoving match.
Mike Hill was jawing at Jalen Lowe quite a bit in the game. That was about as far as I saw it get.
After his first make, he was letting him hear about it. Because I think we know Jalen Lowe. Like, Jalen Lowe, I'm sure, was saying stuff before that as well. But yeah, like, there was jawing. There was the requisite stuff that you're going to see. But there was never even a, like, hey, loose ball, a little bit of a shove there, and players kind of coming together. None of that stuff ever happened. And, I mean, talking to people that were in that building 45 minutes, hour before tip-off, they all were like, it feels like this is a very combustible situation. There's a lot of energy in this place. Like, something's going to happen tonight. And nothing really. I think we were ready to go if they wanted to bring. We weren't going to start it, but we were very ready to jump in if something was going to happen. And Kentucky, they didn't really want to fight last night. So
I was completely appalled that we didn't see like at least anything. Like, it looked like it didn't even get really chippy in the game. Like, it was like pretty straightforward basketball. The craziest part to me today was when we were on KRC just a little while ago. Stephen Peak opened up the show by making the statement that last night he said that was the best environment he's gone to for a Kentucky basketball game.
Oh, wow.
And he wants the Rupp Arena to look like that moving forward, like in that hostility and how much energy was in that place.
I mean, I'll say, this is going to sound like rivaling, but I'm going to back up Steven here. I went to the last time we had a big game. I mean, the last time that these two teams played when they were ranked was 2019. I went to the game in Rupp, and I'm expecting it to be, because I've been to the Rupp game when I was in college, like 05. It was the year we were coming off the Final Four. We were very highly ranked, and they beat our ass, and it was terrifying. Like we got pelted with ice. It was like the place was juiced up from start to finish. And the environment for that 2019 game, like, don't get me wrong, it was a big game environment, but it was not nearly as like scary or intimidating. It felt like just kind of a normal big time basketball game. Last night, it felt like it was properly unhinged the way that it's supposed to be. I kind of agree with Peak there.
It's one of those where you go in and, everybody wants to say their team has the most hostile environment to play in, right? That's the goal. Not in literal terms hostile, but like you go in and there is a genuine energy that not only the fans feel but the other team feels. And that is one of those where you look at the game, like I compare it to the Notre Dame game for football.
Yeah. That's
one where the fans were I don't like A&M, but I'm going to use their phrase, that's the 12th man. They had a genuine role in this game. And, when you start playing forward, you start getting up. I mean, when you brought up the 3 Michael hit over Yelovich to go up 18, the Chili's I was in last night exploded. I mean, the 9 people that were still there absolutely lost their. I scared the waiter, okay? He had jumped while taking somebody else's order.
I love that you watched the game at Chili's.
It was fantastic. Look, Chili's underrated game day environment. Let me go ahead and tell you right there. But all jokes aside, even watching it on TV
now?
Oh yeah, now I'm joking. All jokes aside, watching the game on TV, you just looked at it and I just had a smile from face to face. Win or loss, I was like, God, it's so back. It's so back. I mean,
it is, and I know that that's kind of the. If you're a UK fan trying to cope, and I've always said this when we've lost, which has been far too often, like you just kind of have to sit in it. There's no deflecting. You can't blame the refs. You can't say, well, the game's too early. Like, the rivalry means so much. It's the worst thing ever when we lose to Kentucky. And I always just say, take the shots, like throw it out there. Some of the UK coping I've seen today has just been, you get the standard, it's about time, 40-18, but it's been a lot of, well, now it's a rivalry. Now it's back on. It was always going to get back to this place, whether we won this game or not. Now we just have the actual result that turns your head. We're even on aggregate now at this point. They beat us by 8 last year. We beat them by 8 this year.
The point total was even at 181 to 181.
Yeah, that's why. We're even on aggregate. It's all tied up now. We're on level footing in the Mark Pope versus Pat Kelsey era, and like we talked about on yesterday's show, I think all of a sudden now the pressure swings back towards their direction because John Calipari always beat Louisville. And Mark Pope is supposed to be the anti-John Calipari in every way but that one. They want him to be everything that Calipari wasn't in that last half decade of his tenure, besides not beating Louisville. They want him to be able to beat Louisville. And if he's getting, I don't say his ass kicked, but if they feel like we're getting the better of them for the next 3, 4, 5 years, that becomes a thing, like because they've never dealt with that. We've never beaten them more than twice in a row, and all of a sudden that pressure gets ratcheted up, and especially if you're not winning national titles or getting to Final Fours with all this money that they're spending on basketball, like that game now all of a sudden, like they need to win it next year. And I do love that Kelsey, this doesn't have to be something that he hears about for the next 12 months, because if you lose this game, and let's say we went to the Elite Eight and got beat by a really good whoever, Houston. It's a great season. People are still like, can he beat Kentucky? And it gets annoying, and you've got to hear about it, and you're 0-2, and then maybe you worry about coming into next year's game with more pressure, and you handle it differently than you've handled it the past 2 years. Like, there's no longer any concern for that. You love getting that first win out of the way in your first 2 years, and now you can just treat the rivalry the way that it's supposed to be treated. Although I thought we just kind of came out and hooped last night.
We did. Yeah, they got to sit in it, but they've also to be a little bit worried.
UK?
They don't pick some things up before JQ gets back around. May not be the only big game they lose.
Do you feel differently about Kentucky? I mean, obviously they lost the game. But big picture-wise, I don't know where you were, Roman, on UK going into last night. Do you feel differently now about them for the rest of the season?
Not really.
I don't really either. I think they're going to be good. But I do think that Pope's going to have to adjust some stuff.
Yeah, and I wonder how long it takes for them to look good without JQ.
I mean, Quaintance will help them significantly on defense. There's no question about it. But, like, we didn't – I know that Frew had 10 points, and we had a couple of putbacks right there. But it's not like we just killed them with straight-line drives besides Michael. Like, I don't know how much – like, Quaintance would have helped them last night. I don't know if he was enough of a bridge to make it more competitive than it was. Because he doesn't – we don't know how much he's proved offensively. Last year he was not a good offensive player at Arizona State. He just doesn't bring that much to the table. He's kind of a basic big man, but he's super athletic and super good at protecting the rim. But that wasn't their biggest problem last night. They were extending their big. They were bringing their bigs out away from the basket anyway, and still leaving us open for three. I mean, we were 13 of 40 from three. Most of the threes that we took were good shots. It wasn't like we were taking them just to take them. We were screening them, cutting them, and like they looked kind of lost defensively, and we were getting the ball where we wanted it to go. That problem right there doesn't get solved strictly by having Jaden Quaintance back into the flow. They've got some stuff to fix. I think that they'll be fine. I think they'll still be a really good team, but I maybe feel slightly less confident in their ability to be like a top 5 team when all's said and done than I did going into last night. Is that fair, Producer Matt?
I think it's fair. I mean, they definitely
suck is what I want to say. They're not even good. They may not win 10 games.
I mean, $22 million, I'm going to go right off Roman, bunch of role players out there. Bunch of role players.
There it is.
They don't have a star.
They don't. Otega Owe is supposed to be your SEC preseason player of the year.
Broke jumper.
He just sits in the corner.
He looked like the 7th best player last night in that game.
He looked awful.
Yeah.
Like, and it was to the point where, I mean, you already said it, that, when the ball got in his hands, I'm like, yeah, put it over there. Get it out of Jalen Lowe's hands. Give it to that guy.
I mean, I think he's a good college player. There's never, even when Oweh was playing well last year, there's never a moment where you're like, oh, yeah, that's an NBA guy. Like, you know, maybe he's like an end-of-the-bench guy who can make a roster or something like that. But unless he develops a reliable outside shot, I mean, the shot just looks ugly, and it doesn't go in at nearly high enough clip. You can't do the things that you do playing downhill in college when you get to the next level. And you saw Louisville last night how easily they took it away. And Louisville does not have NBA bigs. They don't have NBA, power forwards out there, and they still were able to limit all the things that he wants to do. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to see this Kentucky team. They've got a bunch of really good college players. I don't think they have a superstar out there. And last night, that's kind of the big difference.
They're a great team. Like you said, they have great players. I just feel like they're not running their system the way they need to run around these guys. Like you brought up at the beginning that they were trying to run with U of L the whole time, and me and my friends and I were watching it. Like, if this is the way they want to play, can we play? Like, can we keep doing this?
Yeah.
They just kept throwing up threes. They kept trying to sprint and transition. I'm like, this is not. This is a systemic offense that plays in the half court. What are they doing?
I feel like we keep calling them great players. Like, it's a bunch of good players.
A bunch of good college players. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, your thoughts on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. It's Victory Wednesday. It rolls on next here on the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical on the Big X.
Shooting star leaping through the sky.
UK Subs at basketball. Don't stop me now. Hour number 2 here, the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Hey, You know what everyone actually wants for Christmas? Something they'll use and something they'll enjoy. That's what makes shoppingkentuckiana.com such a hit. You can grab half-price gift certificates to restaurants, entertainment spots, and attractions all over Kentuckiana. Think Malibu Jacks, Parlor Pizza, 5 Iron Golf Louisville, which, by the way, will be there tomorrow, and tons more. Every deal is half off, which means you can double the fun without doubling the cost. Give them as gifts or use them for holiday outings with family and friends. The way to get involved is just simply heading to shoppingkentuckiana.com. Make your Christmas shopping simple, local, and full of savings. shoppingkentuckiana.com. Back here on the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical. Roman Kelly, Matt Childress along for the ride today as we celebrate Louisville's victory over Kentucky. One more thought before we go to the Game Day Men's Health text line. I think one of the million cool things about watching last night's game is it's November 11th. We controlled things, I thought, from start to finish. I know it did get a little bit dicey late. Did not love the 7 consecutive missed free throws. I thought I was going to have an aneurysm. But for the most part, we clearly looked like the better team from start to finish. We didn't play an A-plus game. We didn't shoot the ball as well as I think we're going to shoot from 3 more times than not this season. And I also feel like we've got a handful of pieces on this year's team that can really improve over the course of the year. We're not a finished product. I think you've kind of got the best of both worlds because you feel adequately prepared for these big early season games because you've got guys like Ryan Conwell and Javon Hadley and Isaac McNeely and a couple others who they've basically hit their ceiling as college players. We know who they are, and they know how to handle situations like this. But you've also got a handful of other guys. Like I think Fruch, we've already seen him improve over the course of the first 2 weeks of the season. I think he's going to get better. I think Adrian Woolley's got a very high ceiling. I liked a lot of what we saw from Woolley last night. I know he didn't shoot the ball that well. He got stopped at the rim a couple of times, but he got to the rim and played downhill effectively. I think he's got more of an ability to be a great defender at that 3 spot if they put him out there than Isaac McNeely does, or that 2 spot. I think, Cason Pryor, when he gets fully healthy, will play more of a role on this team. Like, Kenai Roots was sort of a non-factor last night. Had a big tap out late in the game. That was a big play. But for the didn't score, and he came into the game as our leading scorer. He'll continue to get better over the course of the year.
Didn't really want to put the ball on the floor much either.
And he played within himself. I'm not gonna fault him for that. But he'll gain confidence as the season goes on. We can be a much better team over the 5 months to come. That's the exciting thing about right now. And there are 2 elements of excitement from last night. One is just simply, haha, UK, you suck, F you forever, F them, all that stuff, all the rivalry stuff, and that's a big part. Last night was big in terms of the overall season, though, as well. That might be the best team we play in our non-conference season. You've got a win that will, I think, hold strong on your resume when you get to March. Will be a nice quad 1 win to have, maybe moves you up a seed line, and also gives you some confidence early on in this season before you go into those games against Cincy at the end of this month, against Tennessee next month, against Indiana, against Memphis State, against all those teams, and get you ready for conference play. Like, it's a jolt of confidence where you have the confidence that you can win those games, and you don't feel as much pressure to win those games because you got a little bit of a safety net now. It was a huge night for a myriad of reasons, and one of the most exciting things about it was I didn't feel like we played an A-plus game, and I feel like we're going to get better as the season progresses. This team has not reached its ceiling. I don't think it's relatively close to it, guys, and that's very, very exciting.
You're right. I mean, hello?
Your mic's off.
Hello?
It's on.
Check it.
Hello?
I don't know why it's not working. It works
Hello?
when you hit it.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
Just smack it around a little bit.
Yeah. Like, you're right that this was not an A-plus game. There's definitely ways. I mean, Kentucky outshot us in this game, percentage-wise.
Yeah, from 3.
From 3. And we still put up 96 points on a Kentucky team that prides themselves on being a defensive prowess. Like they pride themselves on, hey, we're not the best offensive team in the country, but we're going to give you hell for 40 minutes. And we should have put up over 100. If you don't miss 7 consecutive free throws.
I'm a little bit pissed off about it, to be honest.
It would have been 3 games in a row. I don't have the history stats on how many, if we've ever done that before.
188 would have been a lot cooler.
It would have. I was actually really upset because it was 3 possessions away, so like the game was already kind of put away. You just let them kind of, they got to hit at least 3 straight shots, to win. It was still frustrating to watch, but I was sitting here like, God, please get to 100, please, and then we didn't do it. But we still put up 96, like I said, on a team that prides themselves on their defense in a game that we didn't play our best.
Javon Hadley's rushing his free throw.
He is.
I love Javon. I'll always love Javon. I named one of my bonsai trees after Javon because I got it the day that he announced he was coming back. When he laughed after missing the 3rd consecutive one, I almost threw into a fit of rage. I was like, "Not the time for laughs, Javon!" I was flipping out. I was like, "Just make it!" And then he missed the next one too. In case you're wondering, according to Kelly Dickey at Real Card Game on Twitter, did not hit triple digits for a 3rd consecutive game, but we did score 96 consecutive points in 3 consecutive games, which had not happened since a stretch of 4 straight games in 1971. We scored 96 points or more in 4 consecutive games from December 22nd through December 30th, 1971. So still making history there. Also, another cool stat from last night. We are now, when we score 90 points in home games, all time, Louisville basketball 281-0.
Wow.
Have never lost a home game when scoring 90 points or more. I feel like that's one of those stats that's probably going to change in the next few years because we're going to keep scoring a lot of points. We're probably going to get beat in some of these high-scoring games at some point against great teams, but not last night, and that's all that matters. 281-0. Crazy stat there. We also now are 30-0 under Pat Kelsey when we lead with 5 minutes to go.
Super cool.
We've never lost a game with a lead at the 5-minute mark in the second half. We've also never won a game when we've been trailing at the 5-minute mark in the second half under Pat Kelsey. So maybe we can fix that one. But whoever's been leading with 5 minutes to go since Pat Kelsey got here, they've won every single game that Louisville's played, all 38 of them.
That's one of those, you're like, the good ones, like, yeah, hurrah, and the other one's like, small sample size.
Don't worry about
Small
it.
sample size.
One way more than we've lost. It's fine. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line. As you might guess, tons and tons and tons of text to get to. I assume most of them are going to be overwhelmingly enthusiastic. If they're not, I may just skip them. We don't have time for that today. What we do have time for today is to remind you about Game Day Men's Health, redefining men's wellness with no shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. If you have needs in any of these areas, visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Let's get to it. Let's see when the first, people are just trying to get in for the first text. First text came in, it was blank, and it was a first-time texter. Cowboy, but also we can't see your text. Text Groove! Texter says, the second half reminded me of the Butler, Wisconsin Sweet 16 game back in, this is Stallworth. I could tell right away, I didn't even read the first full line. Brown Jr. had his Mac moment with the and one, and the lead shrunk to 4 points, and Kentucky didn't capitalize on a tie-up situation. Did not think about that game last night, Mike, but if anybody would, it would have been you. Texted, of all the things about the game last night, the thing that shocked me the most is that Brandon Garrison didn't thump an opponent in the head. Brandon Garrison was basically a ghost last night. Like, he did nothing of any real significance the entire game.
He sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we were making the jokes of like taking the basic takes and be like, that guy just sucks. Brandon Garrison sucks.
I don't really know what he gives you, at least significantly, if you're Kentucky, besides a little bit of an edge, I guess. I mean, the fruit poster early on it wasn't on Garrison, but it was still like I didn't know Sonata could dunk on
that. That was another one where you all brought up that his hands, like he gets the ball off the floor super fast and then just goes up on Yelovich. Just dude looked like he was surprised it was going to happen.
He was great. I mean, Sonata, him playing like that opens up so many doors for this team that I wasn't sure we hadn't seen it from him yet, and that was the biggest surprise of last night to me. I think Ali Khalifa gave you what you expect. You know, he dropped a few dimes, 4 assists. Hit 3 steals in the game last night, which was nice. Had a couple rebounds. He was in the right place at the right time for a putback on the weak side at a key moment there. His three-point shot has been, like, he hadn't come close on any of the ones that he's taken yet. I keep hearing about how he can knock down the three.
He made that one against Kansas. Be like, oh, it's for real.
I mean, the highlights are all out there. He's missed wide left, I think, on every one he's taken since the season started. But he was good. He gave you what you thought, but it was Frew going out there, playing 25 minutes last night. He really, really stood out last night. I thought he was fantastic.
Both ends of the floor.
Everybody played well. There wasn't one guy that I pointed to. Like, Javon had some moments where him going, I was mad about the laughing during the free throws missing. He also had a moment where we're up 10 with 6 minutes left, and he went 1-on-3 in the fast break, and I was like, okay, I was like, I know we want to play fast, but at some point, you got to rein it in a little bit and recognize the situation, which I do think is going to be something that this team has to do, because we're going to have games where, we shoot the lights out and we build a 20-point lead, and we're playing a really good team in March, or we're playing a really good team in February, and they get hot and we stop making shots, but the pace of play allows them to get right back into the game in 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to have to find a happy medium between accentuating the strengths in a way that allows us to build a relatively large lead, and then maybe slightly altering things to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance to hold on to that lead. You don't want to totally go away from what's been working, but you also don't want to play, a 50-possession game in the last 10 minutes that allows the team to have a chance to make a comeback, because you can kind of see that being a way that you get beaten March by a really good team. So I think that's something that's one area that you can look at from last night's game and say that has to get better if we're going to go out there and make a Final Four or play for a national title. Texter says, the all-around performance from Sananda Fru couldn't have impressed me more. He outplayed UK's bigs significantly. So many things to point out, but his defense on screens, pick and roll, and when getting switched onto guards was phenomenal. He can catch and finish around the basket. Takes Louisville to an elite level considering that we already knew about this backcourt. I thought Ollie played well off the bench, and getting Pryor back into the flow will help too. Yeah, I mean, Fru, every time they tried to get him into a pick-and-roll situation, he hard hedged when it was appropriate. He did well at guarding guys that were smaller and quicker. Every time that UK thought they had a mismatch they could attack, he just negated it. Like he was right there. He was tremendous defensively last night, and if he plays like that the rest of the season, I think it takes this team to a different level. Texter says, this is the best backcourt in the country, and now I think the front court is going to be way better than advertised. Fru is starting to look comfortable, and our front court was better than UK's without much from Roots or Pryor, who will contribute plenty as the year goes on. I haven't been this excited as a while. Let's pack this Ohio game on Saturday. Bleep Ohio. F them. I would have loved it if, like, last night, Michael was like, Bobcats, F them. Just like calling out Ohio. I was like, what the hell?
Just an every game thing now.
Every game now. We're just like, yeah, NJIT, F them. Nerds. Think you're technical? Get you back on your computers. Just go all in.
What was your SAT score?
Why not? By the way, the videos of the CARDS cheers of the fans leaving the game, just, rock hard.
Hits every time.
I mean, it was just incredible. And then you see, like, the sad smattering of blue in the middle of that sea. You're like, oh. I mean, I've been on the other side of it. It's miserable. It's the worst thing in the world. But when it's your side doing the cheers, and it's just the best feeling.
I loved they showed the leaving early cam at the end of the game.
With the bye-bye?
Yes. That was great.
Whoever did that was very well done. Just fantastic. I mean, UK fans, they try to do like the go. One of the coolest moments at the beginning of the game, when they got a little bit of momentum, they started doing the "Go Big Blue" chant, and then Michael splashes the three, right, and just like shuts everybody up. It was phenomenal. The whole thing was great. The whole thing was just, what a great night. Texter says, I'm so hyped for this win and so happy Kelsey and company were able to get the job done. It still feels weird with it being a Tuesday night in November and football falling flat earlier. I'm not talking about that right now. But, Dan, this win is such a statement. My only selfish issue is we didn't get to 100. Really feels like we should have scored 120. The final score is in no way indicative of the belt to ass that occurred last night. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little bit upset that the final margin wasn't healthier. But when they got it down to 4 and they were shooting free throws, if you told me, hey, you're going to win the game, I would be like, just give me the win. Just give me the win. I'll be okay. I will give Podcast Dan a little bit of credit. I said this last night on our emergency pod. In that moment where everybody's freaking out, he's like, we're fine. We're going to win. And I was like, all right. Dan's calm. Because Dan's usually not the most calm fan. And he felt it. It is comforting having Kelsey. It's comforting having Michael Brown. It's comforting having guys that have been in these types of spots before. And just to be honest, we handled that moment better than they did. Like once Michael got the and one, they started pressing, and we played calm. I know we missed a bunch of free throws late, but we still there was no throwing the ball away. We handled their little pressure well. We defended adequately. They made the turnovers. We didn't. 6 turnovers in 40 minutes at that pace is still just remarkable. I'm blown away by how well we took care of the ball. Texture says, Rocky 4 guy here. What's up, Rocky 4 guy? Got a random few quick hitters since you have 2,000 texts today. I wanted more from Kanai, but he got a deflection that led to us getting a 3, and he stayed vocal in huddles from the bench. Look, we know Kanai's a great teammate. We saw that all. Like, he didn't play a big role on last year's team. He was hyped for every game. He's leading the CARDS cheers. Even last night, I'm sure he's disappointed by the way that he played. You know, he gets the start against your arch rival. He only plays 11 minutes. He doesn't take a shot, I don't think. And he's out there, like, jumping up and down with Kelsey in the locker room, doing the dance with everybody else. He's just as excited as anybody else, which is very cool to see. You need that on a team that you hope is going to play its way deep into March.
Yeah.
He says, Ollie dropped dimes. Why in the world did they leave Conwell and Isaac to double Hadley and Frew? Thanks for that. Made no sense whatsoever. None. It's great to have a team that did not look scared to face the blue team. It's definitely a new era. I didn't care for Moreno staring down McNeely like Trez used to do to little Bellarmine kids when he dunked on them. Welcome to college basketball, Frew. Glad to have you here, you beast. Roman, I'm sorry your squad lost.
They should have won.
Is he making fun of? I thought he was making fun of you for betting on UK.
I thought he was talking about FSU because I tweeted about him.
No, I think he was talking about you betting on Kentucky and everybody being mad at you for it yesterday.
Oh yeah, they didn't cover, did they?
I bet on Kentucky too, by the way.
You weren't alone. But my best friend, he's like, I've missed 8 consecutive bets. I just took UK money line. You're welcome. He's like, 0 for 9. There it is. Like, a lot of Louisville fans, I think, did that yesterday.
Our entire group chat was sending in our Kentucky money line bets, like, go Cards, we did our part. And then our friend, our last one, sends in a 2-leg parlay of Louisville money line and Louisville spread. I said, you've cooked us. You ruined it.
You got it done. I mean, can we talk about that for a second? How the hell does Vegas know?
So no idea.
It's so weird because there wasn't a glaring thing either. We kept talking.
7 missed free throws at a 7-point deficit.
We kept talking about it yesterday, and we led the show with it. The spread jumps mysteriously from 2.5 or 3.5 to 6.5, and there's some rumors that Otega Owe maybe got banged up or something along those lines. He's fine. He's playing. Jalen Lowe's playing. I don't think Javon Hadley being healthy is a 3-point swing. It made no sense, and yet they were spot on. Like I think someone was looking at the stats, and it was saying like 85% of bets were coming in on Kentucky for that game. Like Vegas just knows. I mean, do we think Kentucky's having illegal gambling going on?
With the way the system they started with?
You can't guarantee that they're not.
There's not a 0%.
I don't trust Mark Pope in these situations.
He's too nice.
He's got Chick-fil-A worker. I don't think you really want me to have I don't think it really was your pleasure. He's doing some shady stuff. There's an underground gang in Salt Lake City that he's still affiliated with. You don't know what's going on out there.
They're betting on high school football.
They're betting on high school football and Kentucky basketball. That's all it is.
They're using their winnings to pay their players.
That's how do you think they got a $24 million, $32 million roster, whatever it is? Illegal betting.
Pat Kelsey's over here breaking fingers.
Just saying. We also need to talk about that. Pat Kelsey dislocates his finger. He said it was so he said when he went back to the locker room, the coaches are kind of waiting there in that little area. If you've ever been back there, that's sort of, they've got drapes blocking it off. Like on your way back to the locker room, the coaches were waiting there to kind of like tackle him and attack him. And so he starts running away from them and I guess hits the pole that is on that curtain and just completely snaps his finger out of place. So they have the picture of him after the game. I think Pat Forty posted it, where you expect him to throw up an L. He can't do it because his finger's just, so he's throwing up a W with the cast on the little splint on his finger. That's an all-time rivalry night moment, too.
It was killing me because before I saw the press conference where he says that happened, all I'm seeing is the celebratory videos and his hands like wrapped up in his shirt and he's jumping up and down with one hand. I'm like, what is he doing? What is he holding?
It's an interesting moment, but props to Pat Kelsey. Wouldn't have it any other way. You could see how much that meant to him, too. Mark Pope, a little bit of a blow-by, the handshake?
A little bit.
No bro hug after the game. Yeah, a little bit. And then you see Kelsey going back, looking up to his family in the crowd, doing the heart sign, kind of thumping his chest a little bit. I love him going up in the student section, too. That was awesome. Not the first time he's done it. Won't be the last. I mean, hell, he did it after, I think, the Jackson State game. But to do it after UK. And props to the students, man. Yeah, the student section, we've seen it empty so many times over the years, even for big games. To have that place complete, it filled up in like 5 seconds when they opened the doors, and to have it filled up completely to the brim, an hour before tip-off, them out there heckling the UK players, getting into it. That's what you want from the students. We've been asking for this for decades, even when the program's been really good, and it feels like we finally got an elite student section.
Stephen Peake was saying he was taking videos for KSR and stuff, and they were screaming at him, like throwing L's up, flipping them off, and he was like, I'm not going to lie, I loved it.
Yeah,
loved every second of it.
That's what you want. Like, this is the way that it's supposed to be. It's big-time college basketball. We can't thump our chests about being the most contentious rivalry in college basketball without having a little bit of that stuff. I know Michael Eaves is a Kentucky guy, but I did like him on SportsCenter before they started showing the highlight. They had like a highlight package for the game that showed like clips from past years. And then before they showed the highlights of this year's game, he kind of went into a little commentary about, hey, everyone thinks North Carolina Duke's the best rivalry, but this is different because they get one shot at each other and you can't understand. Like, I was like, all right, I appreciate you because 90% of the people that work at ESPN are from the Tobacco Road area or like Syracuse, and they all go to bat for UNC Duke. It was nice to have someone advocating for us.
Especially when you have to listen to Jay Billis all night.
The North Carolina Duke, just like the flippancy. I love my guy Tate Frazier, but I heard his podcast clip from yesterday where he was like, Indiana Purdue's actually the second best rivalry. I was like, please stop. just stop. He's like, you don't understand the pain of losing this type of game. No North Carolina Duke fan ever will. Maybe Duke fans who lost them in the Final Four in Coach K's last game. That's an extreme example. But with North Carolina and Duke, I feel like it's basically voting in a lot of elections where at the end of the day, more times than not, it's a rich white guy with very few differences from the other guy. Like, and I get that now maybe it's a little bit different than it used to be, but more times than not over the years, you're essentially voting from people that are cut from the same cloth. Kentucky and Louisville fans are very different. It's a totally different rivalry. There are culture clashes involved in this rivalry that simply are not present in that one in North Carolina. The games are better. More time, there's no question about that. Over the years, they've had better games. They've had more competitive games. They've had more meaningful games. But if you're looking at pure hatred, disdain, and a rivalry that drives the conversation in that area 365 days a year, they don't have that.
From player and fans.
They don't have it. I mean, if this were Duke Carolina and we're talking about us beating them in early February, part of the conversation is, okay, but can we beat them in a couple of weeks when we play there in Chapel Hill? Like, what do we need to do to sweep the series? Or if you're Kentucky, like, I think we're going to get them when we play them again. And then, like, it's just totally different. The stakes are never as high for any of their games as they are when we play once a year. It's different. Texter says, what's up, guys? Up and down card here. I've never heard that nickname. I don't know where that comes from. I'm sure there's a backstory here, but you can't just call yourself something random. I'm up today. We're going to win all the big games. We'll always be big time, baby. Forget that mid-major crap I said yesterday. We're going all the way. Oh, and Mike, did you see all those All-Americans over there? Go Cards. I don't know what up and down guy's talking about.
I think it's because, like, in his last few texts, he's saying I'm emotionally drained.
Oh, okay.
And now he's not.
Okay, but you never once used the phrase up and down. You can't just call yourself up and down guy. It's not. I can't abide by this. I'm not changing your name on the text line. I mean, he invokes. I know we're not supposed to talk about Kenny Payne anymore. It is crazy that it's only been 2 years now since the Kenny Payne, the C.L. Brown question where he says, you say you're seeing progress. If you're comparing yourself to Kentucky, how close are you? And he laughs. And Kenny Payne's like, to those, do you see all those All-Americans out there? Act like there's no chance for us to be remotely near Kentucky's level. 2 years after that, kind of whoop their ass up and down the court for 2 hours.
Well, wasn't it Mark Pope that also said that his team wasn't, what did he say? They didn't have runaway talent? Like, you spent $22 million. I mean, you don't have runaway talent.
Look, he's right.
He's right.
But not what the fan base wants to hear. Absolutely not. Podcast Random Thoughts Guy says, not sure what was worse on the Big X this morning. Scoot saying Paul Rogers is 3 pegs below Tom Leach. And I guess whoever IU's radio person is him saying Chili's isn't good, or Michael calling Trevelyan Way Trevathan. I felt good about the game all day yesterday, which has never happened before. I almost collapsed when Michael went to the floor. This was a fun memory below, Mike. Darren McCarty punching an Avalanche player. How'd that go for him? Whatever. What is Scoots talking about? Scoots has had some, I haven't heard them, but the takes that have been passed along on this show from Scoots' show have been ridiculous recently. Paul Rogers, 3 pegs below top. I couldn't tell you who IU's radio person is, nor could I care. Couldn't care less. Let's take a break. When we come back, more from you guys on the Game Day Men's Health text line. The number there, 502-414-1450. Get those texts in. Have those thoughts read. It's a celebratory Wednesday here on the Mike Rutherford Show. Cards, greater than sign, cats. We'll keep talking about it after the break. Keep it locked right here. 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. Feeling the vibes. Loving it. Feeling good. Welcome back in. It's the 4 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show. 1450, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Reminder, we are going to be at 5 Iron Golf in Nulu tomorrow. If you want to stop by and celebrate the win with us in person, we'll be there I'll be there from 2:30 to 5:30. Roman, I believe you'll be out there starting at 2, right?
I'll be out there 12 to 6, I believe.
So if you want to come out, maybe make fun of the KRC guys for losing from 12 to 2, you can do that and then hang out and
happy
party
birthday
with us.
tomorrow.
That's right. I had this in my show notes right here on the page that I'm pointing at. I was going to start. Producer Matt threw me off being in here. I was going to start off by saying, Roman, happy early birthday present.
Thank you.
That's got to feel good, doesn't it?
Feels great. Feels great. And I feel like it could be capped off Friday with a brilliant birthday week if we'll just say if Jeff can get everything squared away correctly.
Speaking of Jeff, there are reports out there that Louisville is working on a contract extension for Jeff Brom. It's kind of annoying. So not giving away paywall information. The report that's out there is from On3, and it's behind a paywall. It doesn't say anything of any note. It just says sources are telling multiple college football insiders, including Brett McMurphy and Pete Nakos and somebody else, that Louisville's trying to get a contract extension for Jeff Brom. It's like, well, no bleep. We know this. There are no details whatsoever. Hey, Penn State and Florida are talking to Jeff. They'd love to have Jeff Brom be their head coach. We know. It's going to get done. Jeff will be the coach. He's going to get a little bit of a bonus. It's all good. We talked at the beginning of the week about how it's totally nonsensical, but the football loss to Cal on Saturday, I think it made the fan base less confident in Tuesday night's basketball game. We just started doing the woe is me, everything goes poorly here, nothing ever good happens to us. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but winning last night, it kind of made me more fired up for Friday night's game against Clemson.
A little bit.
There was a part of me that was like,
Just
all right.
A little bit.
I was like, you know what? I hate Clemson too.
Even though
they're coming to town. We win this game. Some crazy stuff happens on Saturday. You never know. You never know. What were you going to say?
So even though absolutely nothing has changed at all.
Nothing has changed. And if anything, you would think having that feeling would do the reverse effect because the football game made us less confident for the basketball game, and we won it. So maybe we should realize that it has no bearing on the other game.
I've kind of shifted, though, Mike.
Okay.
With the football stance. I think we're going to beat Clemson. I think we're going to beat SMU. I also think we're going to beat UK. And I think it's not going to matter.
It might not. There are, Kelly laid out a handful of them. There are actually a number of scenarios that could get us into a tiebreaker. And if we get to a tiebreaker, my understanding is the tiebreakers all really benefit us. We need, what they're like 5 teams with 1 loss, we need 4 of them to lose a game at some point over the next 3 weeks. It's not it's not like it's a 50% likelihood of happening, but it's not impossible. But the big thing is it doesn't matter if we don't win our 2 ACC games. So we'll talk more about Clemson tomorrow. Today, it's a celebration. Cards, better than the Cats. For the first time since 2020, we're celebrating. Texture says, 502-414-1450. Tampa Card here. What's up, Tampa Card? Last night's performance by Michael Brown has to be the most points scored by a Louisville freshman against UK, right? Also, what is the record for points in a season and single game by a freshman at U of L? Season, I couldn't tell you. Points in so this was the most points in a game by a freshman since, Roman, would you like to venture a guess? I'll give you a hint. It's in your lifetime.
Terry Rozier.
Before then. We've mentioned him on the show today.
VJ King?
Edgar Sosa.
Oh, okay.
In the 2007 NCAA tournament, Edgar Sosa scored 31 against Texas A&M. Unfortunately, missed 2 late free throws. We lost the game. AC Law went off, but he was tremendous in that game. The record for most points in a game by a freshman, my first U of L basketball love, LaBradford Smith, scored 32 back in, I think, 1989. He holds the record for most points in a single game by a U of L freshman. Do we think Michael Brown breaks that record this season?
Yes.
Probably. Probably does. Most points, total points by a freshman in a season. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Couldn't tell you, but we can look that up. We'll put Kelly on that. Texas, how awesome would it have been to beat UK and drop 100 points in regulation? I mean, I'm not going to don't poo-poo the win. We all wanted to score 100, but I'll take 96-88. Second highest score, I asked the question of you yesterday. I said, do you think this will break the record for the highest scoring game in series history, which is a 103-89 Kentucky win in 1991? It didn't, but it is the second highest scoring game in the history of the rivalry. Roman, you thought this game was going to be played in the 70s, by the way.
I thought so.
That was a mistake.
It was.
Texter says, this is Scoots Hater. Says, don't miss my prior text. Last year's motto, Revival. This year's motto, F 'em. Just like this photo, it's the Cardinals shoving a ball up the Wildcats behind with the Mark Pope face on the Wildcat. Also says, Brandon Garrison is a little bleeping kitty cat. Didn't want to get into anything with anyone like a baby back B. Also, we really blow them out if Woolley buries any of the threes that he couldn't hit. He missed he missed a handful of wide open looks, which was. I still am very high on Adrian Woolley. I think his good outweighed his bad last night. He just didn't have a great shooting night, which is fine. Like, that's going to happen from time to time. I liked his aggression. I think he's got great ability. I think he's one of the guys. I think he's the best at putting the ball on the floor and getting to the basket out of our guards besides Michael. And now it's just a matter of making the right decision once he gains that advantage. Texter says, by the way, I watched Ole Miss play last night, and James Scott has not improved at all. We definitely have an upgrade with Frew over Scott.
I think, yeah.
Sure seems like.
Can we revisit a whole tier above?
Can we revisit something from 2 weeks ago?
What is
and I made this plea before we played the games. And then everybody's like, oh, you can't talk. Exhibition games don't matter. Exhibition games don't matter. We've got to figure this out. I mean, every UK fan's texting into our show after they beat Purdue and we lose to Kansas about how much they're going to destroy us. We got U of L fans who are like, Sananda Frew stinks. Michael Brown's overrated. They don't matter. They help. But as far as drawing any sort of sweeping takes from these games, Ole Miss, by the way, beat Houston by 14. Still feel pretty good about Houston. I think they're going to be just fine. We need to understand that moving forward. Having said that, do you get the sense that having that experience against Kansas helped Michael for this game?
Definitely. He got to go out there and see in live time what it's like to have that pressure on your team, or have your team have that pressure of being behind, right? Knowing that you need to do something to help get some momentum and then figure out where that actually lies within the flow of the offense rather than just trying to create it yourself. I think you learned early on he's not going to be able to create it himself all by himself. So that's I think a big learning experience for him to have before anything mattered or counted, I should say.
I actually think what happened in the Kansas game is relatively straightforward. So this recruiting class, people are talking about it potentially being the best recruiting class ever, at least the best recruiting class in like 30 years, and they're playing like it. I mean, these freshmen across, it's not just the big three or the big five. There are freshmen all across the country that are absolutely tearing it up.
Looking like they're going to be the best players on their team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a number of guys. Trey McKinney at Michigan's been phenomenal. We talked about the Steinbach kid out at Washington. It's been tremendous.
Avadala set. Virginia Tech.
God, that guy looks good.
Cameron Carr at Baylor.
Guys across the country have been playing, and you can tell now. A lot of these guys, they've got history. There's some personal animosity there, or at least there's a lot of competitiveness. I think early on in that Kansas game, when Darren Peterson goes out there, hits his first 5 shots or whatever it was, there was Michael took it personally. He wanted to go shot for shot with Darren Peterson, and he started forcing things, and he couldn't really help himself. I think the best thing for Michael in last night's game was Kentucky didn't have one of those guys. There wasn't a guy that he felt like he had a personal rivalry with and that he was like, all right, I got to go out there and prove that this guy shouldn't be above me on the draft boards. It's a rivalry game. He could get hyped up for it, but he played more within himself because there wasn't that personal 1v1 type deal. And I do think that got into his head a little bit in the Kansas game. And I'm glad they don't have DeBonso or one of the boozers or anything like that, because I do think it allowed Michael to kind of play within himself. And he'll learn from that Kansas experience. He knows now that he took a bunch of bad shots, and he can't do that again in the same type of situation. But, yeah, I think getting that out of his system, it was really beneficial for us last night. I think it's beneficial for a lot of guys to get humbled a little bit. Texter says, inquiring minds want to know, did either you or Dan wake the family last night while recording the pod? Because I damn sure would have. Well, Dan was in Cooperstown in a hotel. So, no, his brother finally got there at like 1 a.m. I was in the basement. Mary was up when I started. She ended up going to bed before, but I did not wake anybody else up. I didn't even go upstairs till like 1:45 last night, and then ended up staying up for like another hour. I mean, pretty cool weekend for Dan. So his grandfather, who was the former equipment manager for the Reds, is going into the Baseball Hall of Fame with, I think, like 4 or 5 other equipment managers. And so they got to go up there to Cooperstown today. They toured the Hall of Fame. They're doing it. I mean, there are worse ways to spend a post-rivalry victory Wednesday. The only problem is now he's got to watch every Louisville, Kentucky game in Cooperstown. That's what he's going to have to do. I mean,
Matt's going to have to watch him at Chili's.
The rules are the rules. Yeah, Matt, I love Matt bringing his whole family to Chili's for the game and just getting the play. He's like, the whole place is going nuts. Like, there were 9 people there. They shut down the Chili's. Boxcar Bob, your text didn't come through. You're going to have to send it again.
Send it in on the YouTube chat.
Send it on the YouTube chat if you need to. Do you have any good YouTube comments? Oh, lots of YouTube.
I try to stay up to date with them, but
guys, mostly absolutely amazing atmosphere last night. Glad I could see it in person. Texter said, rather went out and make it to the ACC or beat UK last night.
I say throttle down a bit when we get up by 20. Yeah, I wouldn't be mind slowing the game down a bit when you're up 18 points.
There was
trying to get to the free throw line.
I thought when we got up by 20 in the second half and they made the comeback, I thought that was more about UK doing things well and us just kind of cooling off.
Doing things unreal. I mean, they hit like 3 threes in a row that just not even off of a set or anything. It's just catching out on the perimeter and letting it fly.
The first comeback, though, when we got up by 18 in the second half and they whittled it down to 5, and then we got it to 7 before the break, that was the only time where I thought we stopped playing a little bit. Where when Michael hits that 3 to go up 16 and the place is like about to just erupt, we let that moment get to us a little bit. We relaxed on defense a little bit. We gave up a wide-open offensive rebound and an easy putback. We let our intensity dip. That was the only time. There was like a 3-minute stretch. And I think Kelsey said the same thing after the game, where we just kind of lost ourselves a little bit. The second half, it was more about, I think, them going crazy than it was us not being fully focused. So I mean, it was a pretty mature performance from start to finish for that team last night, which has a lot of guys that don't have experience in these types of situations.
That's kind of the most impressive part to me. Like Sonata Fruit looked like it was just any other game for him. In a good way.
By the way, I don't think Sonata Fruit had any idea who Donovan Mitchell was.
No.
Did you see the video? Like, all of them after the game they're bro hugging Donovan, and like Cole Sherman, obviously he's all about, like, the walk-ons are loving it. Like, he's having conversations with Michael and Conwell. Like, Sonata Fruit looks like he's like, why are we talking? Like, I don't think Zugris, I also don't think really knew who he was or what was going on. But Frew really, I think, was just totally clueless. He was just like, who's this guy in the jacket that everyone's paying attention to?
Zugris knows because he wears the spiders. He said it. I mean, about the shoes, remember?
Yeah, you're right.
Spiders on.
I don't think Frew had any idea. I really don't.
No chance.
Text that I thought an underrated part of the game was Pope completely wasting his challenge with 16 minutes left. There was at least one out of bounds in crunch time that I was sure glad couldn't be looked at. Same. Just seems to be coaching malpractice to waste your challenge to save a single possession with that much time left. That was a critical mistake.
He said, well, he's going to lose that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the replay, which I was really mad at Billis, because Billis was like, I think that may have gone off Louisville. I'm like, what are you watching? It's very clearly off low. And then when they challenged it, I was like, cool, good. You lose a timeout, and now you don't get to challenge. Because, and I kind of forgot, even though we challenged and won and they challenged and lost, I sort of forgot. I know exactly what play the texter's talking about. It was like a minute 15 left. And there was, we got the call, and I think it ended up being the right call. But immediately I'm like, oh, they're going to review that. Here we go. And I forgot, like, they're not doing that this year. You have to have the challenge to review in that type of situation. So we got the ball without any sort of review, no concerns there. And
you like that change?
I do. I mean, the end of game, coaches had abused this. I get why the rule went into place. You don't want to screw that up late. But the rule said that coaches could ask for a challenge anytime a ball goes out of bounds. So coaches were using that as for extra timeouts. So every college basketball game for the last 4 or 5 years.
Last 3 minutes has been 30 minutes.
Exactly. And it'd be plays where it's so obvious that it's out of bounds off one team, but the coach of the other team just wants a timeout because he's wasted all of his timeouts. And then you've got to go look at it, and you've got to check the time now to get it exactly right to the decimal. Like, they needed a way to not make the last 90 seconds of games last 30 minutes. And I think it's going to be a welcome change. And so, yeah. But, like, coaches are going to have to realize you got to hang on to those challenges unless you're 100% sure that a call is wrong early on. Because if not, like, let's say that game it had been a 3-point game and that ball did go off of us and UK lost a possession because of that. That's on Mark Pope for not properly holding on to his challenge. Texas says, I need a highlight reel of just Khalifa passing. My goodness, that was beautiful. Go Cards. I love watching him pass.
I love it as well. I want to do him. I'd like to see him do it facing the basket a little more.
Like turning around. And,
yeah. Just getting into that triple threat a little bit.
I think he does a pretty good job of it. I think a lot of it's set up. So, I mean, he makes a lot of passes where he's essentially setting the screen with the ball in his hands. And they call it a rub. And then he's just making kind of like the hip pass to the guy cutting.
Yeah, or the over the top if they have to go a little longer.
It's working. No question about it. Someone sent in a picture. Did you see the guy behind Schulman and Billis towards the end of the game who was sitting next to the UK fan that was looking sad, and the guy was just like throwing L's up right in his face?
I didn't. That's funny.
There were a couple of better pictures of that. They had to have been friends. If they weren't, I mean, like I would support that UK fan like punching that guy. If that's me, I'm not handling it well.
Yeah, it's got to be brothers or close buddies or something.
They got to be friends. And even if I'm a friend, like I wouldn't have handled that.
So I said brothers.
One of my best friends last night. So he has the classic situation where he's married to a Kentucky fan, but she doesn't really care. Like, she goes to U of L games and she cheers for U of L, but she went to UK and she was really into basketball when she went to college, and like she, the classic, like, I can't name any of the players, but go Cats. And they're watching the game last night, and every time UK scored, like, she doesn't know she hadn't watched the team play before, but she's doing like little claps. And he was like, I'm going to have to go. He's like, I can't handle this. I was like, you can't watch. I could not handle that situation. You got to go watch the game apart. You can't, like, you can tell her you can either watch and not cheer, or we can't watch the game together, because I'm definitely going to cheer. I don't know how people do that. The amount of people that watch these types of games with fans of the other side, I don't care if it's my wife or my best friend or family. If they're cheering for Kentucky during a Louisville, Kentucky game, I can't be around. Could not handle it. But Roman, you said you've done the mixed game watch.
I'm used to it. I like it. I like going back and forth in live time.
I would die. I couldn't handle it.
Now that one would almost be a little bit tougher, because like you're just celebrating seeing the ball go in the rim for them. Like, not if you don't actually understand what in the game is making that happen, or the momentum with the buckets. Now that'd be tough, just clapping, because at that point it's like, are you doing this just to make me mad?
Yeah.
But if the diehard friends of mine who are UK fans, I like it. I like watching games with people who know everything about their team.
Someone sent in this eBay vintage 1997 Louisville Cardinals hanging them out to dry T-shirt, where we're hanging out shirts of UK, Memphis, and Cincinnati to dry. I think this was the year that we beat all three of them and we won 12 games. Because in 97, 98, we upset Kentucky. They went on to win the national title, and we went 12-20. But, yeah, I didn't realize we made shirts for this. I may have to buy this. It's $22. It said 2XL.
Looks like a Mike shirt.
I can't fit into it. I would wear the hell out of it, though. It's a great shirt.
One of those shirts you wear in the house with no pants on.
Absolutely. Yeah, just Donald ducking it. Going cool, Dad. Texas, I know it's still early, but are we surprised by the Cards' KenPom ranking? We're still sitting at 39th defensively. Yeah, we moved up, I think, from 12th to 9th overall last night.
That's not enough.
We're second in offense. We're 39th defensively. I mean, I think we still have a ways to go defensively. I think that there's still – we played a good defense. I think last night, according to KenPom, was our best game defensively, which is impressive. But we still have a ways to go. McNeely stood out to me as a guy that was getting blown by a number of times and was also getting beat backdoor. You can understand that. He's used to a system where there's more help than you have in this one. Like the pack line has a different level of you help here and you don't help here. It's kind of like everyone's working together. This is more of the
baseline stuff. He gets an immediate help in that pack line. And he doesn't have that here.
They're trying to force everything to the middle. We're not necessarily trying to do that. And I think he still has a little bit to learn. You can tell he knows what he's supposed to be doing, but there's times where he's just like he's not fleet of foot enough to keep up with the guy that he's on. But I think when all said and done, I mean we're the worst defensive team in the top 14 on KenPom. I think when all said and done, we'll be a top 30-ish defense.
You'd be a top 25 defense.
We might be. And I think if we're the number one offense or the number two offense in the country, that can be good enough to get you to a Final Four. It may not be good enough to win you a national title, but we can get better in that department. No question.
Being the number two offense, we'll start having some games where we really, really run some teams off the floor that aren't the games that actually do something for our ranking.
Sure.
You know?
By the way, last night, crazy night in college basketball. Yeah, your boys, Florida State, Roman. We'll give you full credit here. You've been touting Luke Locks since he got hired.
I'll let you know they're not going to be terrible. They're not going to be a dumpster fire.
They should have beaten Florida last night.
Had a chance.
They lose by 2.
Wake Forest should have beat Michigan, too.
I mean, this is people are like, the ACC is going to be a lot better. They need to win. Now,
That's the tough part. It's like you guys performed well in these games but didn't get the result we need.
Now, they did beat Michigan last year and then went on to have a terrible season. They had a chance. They trailed by 1 in overtime. Kind of an iffy foul call that allowed that allowed Michigan to take the lead in OT. They had the ball with 6 seconds left. C. Forbes drew up a play that didn't really work. Had a tough shot in the lane. They get beat. Florida State nearly knocks off Florida. The ACC is clearly better, besides Boston College, who lost, by the way, to Central Connecticut State on a last-second shot. North Carolina took care of Radford. But you got to capitalize on some of these situations. It was kind of a night of missed opportunities for the ACC. But Illinois, Texas Tech was a good game. I thought Texas Tech would win that one straight up. I was wrong. Illinois, Vegas always knows. 3.5-point favorite. They win by 4. They got the job done there.
They were up for the entirety of the game, too.
I didn't see any of it. I saw the score and I saw the write-up. But, yeah, they took care of it. Creighton, total fraud.
I've got one of the
blown out by Gonzaga.
One of these opposite takes here, Mike, where the box score doesn't necessarily suggest what I'm going to say here.
Okay.
If you look just at the box score, he played better than what I'm going to say here. Elliot Cadeau is not a great guard. He's good at best. I think he's overrated. I'm not going to pull out that F word yet.
Here's the thing. Subpar shooting guards, it's from the outside. It's really tough for them to be fantastic in college basketball anymore. Now,
they act like he's this point guard savant when you hear him talking about him sometimes, though. And sometimes he'll throw the ball to the crowd.
He had a bunch of turnovers last night from what I heard. I think he's good, but he's not as difficult to game plan for as a guy that can shoot the lights out from the outside. And he's a guy that you say, all right, I dare you to beat us from deep. But I do think he's good. I'm going to have to push back against you just a little bit.
I don't.
Michigan, by the way, the metrics don't love the way that they played early on. They're down to their O rating is way down. They've dropped to 14 on KenPom. Bart Torvik, some of these systems, they kind of think that the Wolverines might be a little bit of frauds. Dusty May. Maybe not the coaching, the God's gift of coaching that people are making them out to be.
Seems like that guard for UNC from Montenegro, that kid's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm still worried about without Trimble. He's their best defensive player. I think that's a huge loss for them.
But they stepped it up offensively, though.
Yeah. Texture says, Riddler here. What's up, Riddler? Mike, if you were a UK fan, what coping mechanism would you choose in response to the Louisville loss? A, just wait until March. B, we didn't have JQ. C, it's about time y'all won one. D, 40-18. E, number of cats in the NBA. All right, let me try to put myself in this mindset. I don't believe in dinosaurs. I think that Richie Farmer was framed. I don't watch any basketball outside of UK. Okay, I think I'm there. I'm going with just wait until March.
That's what I knew you were going to say.
Yeah. It's definitely not E.
Definitely not E.
They're not bringing up the NBA.
If you're logical, it should never be D either in 2025.
It's not, but that's been the main one that I've seen from trolls in my mentions.
My age range has been in the C.
It's about time y'all won. I think C and D kind of go hand in hand.
True.
40 to 18. It's about time y'all won one. The problem
40
is
to 18 though. When you're my age, it's like how many of those did you watch yourself?
I mean, there's that. The other problem is this is a new era. Like, our quick counter is it's 1-to-1 with these coaches.
Yeah.
John Calipari ain't coming back, and I thought you guys didn't want him here anymore. So you can't really thump the chest over that 14 wins and 17 tries anymore because he's not here. Patino's not here. Kenny Payne's definitely not here. Get used to the new norm. I mean, that's the comeback.
I think naturally, last year I found myself, I was in B. We don't have Kaysen. We don't have Corin.
Yeah. I mean, the time-tested one is just wait until March. That's the classic UK go-to, and I think that's where they probably that's what they're thinking right now. All right, we got to go to break. When we come back, hour number 3. Got a couple things to talk about that we have not touched on just yet. Then we'll get back to the text line. We'll also look ahead to some of the night's action in sports. A little college football tonight. Not a big slate, but we'll talk about it after the break. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, 1450 96.1, the Big X.
Hey there, New Albany.
But I guess you never knew. As I said, a story goes. Baby, now I got the flow.
It's the third hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, a celebratory edition of the Mike Rutherford Show, 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. Cards back on top of the rivalry. Louisville better than Kentucky at basketball. Inarguable at this point. 96-88, the final score last night. We've talked about it for 2 hours. We're about to talk about it for another hour. Roman, are you familiar with Mark Morrison, by the way?
Not too much.
Sings that song.
Yeah, I mean,
Return of the Mac.
It's the only song of his I know.
It's the only song I think of his that most people. I think he had like one other song that was okay. He's got the craziest backstory of all time.
Really?
Like, look at his Wikipedia page is outrageous. Like, he was convicted for like manslaughter because he got into like a fight outside of a bar and a guy died. He also got, I think he had a impersonator fake his own death at one point. He got arrested for car theft. The whole thing. Just check out, if you get a free 30 minutes tonight, check out Mark Morrison's Wikipedia page. Everyone just knows
legal
Return of the
issues
Mac.
are its own tab on there.
That's how you know you've made it. When you've got your own legal issues tab, that's when you know the Wikipedia page is going to be a lot of fun. That's what Mark Morrison brings to the table. But he did give us a banger that has stood the test of time. By the way, last night,
he's.
I'm telling you.
Been into some stuff.
What part are you reading?
Convicted for a fray, and then not long after that, arrested on suspicion of kidnapping here.
Yeah. A lot of stuff in there. Crazy time.
Snatched a diamond medallion in a club in Leicester.
You know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
What was he doing in Leicester?
That's Mark. He's from London.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's British.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Wouldn't guess that either. Also part of the surprise when you go to his Wikipedia page. Roman, I sent you a clip on the Big X DM, by the way. I want to get to it. So after the game last night, you know, Michael Brown was talking a lot about his performance and what led him to Louisville. But one of the cooler moments, I thought, Ryan Conwell, and I don't think we've talked about this much on the show, but he has a direct tie to the city of Louisville. A lot of relatives here. His grandfather was a diehard Louisville Cardinals fan. It made Conwell a Louisville Cardinals fan when he was growing up. He envisioned himself playing basketball for Louisville in games like this. And, you know, he has a big-time game last night, really sets the tone, goes off for 24 points. And he got asked, you know, how much does this mean to you as someone who grew up watching these rivalry games and envisioned yourself playing in these rivalry games and who had relatives that were obsessed with Cardinal basketball? And I thought his answer was pretty touching. Here's the clip.
And there's that picture of you outside the Yum Center at like 8 or 9 years old. What would 8-year-old Ryan Conwell think of dropping 24 against Kentucky tonight? And more importantly, what would your grandpa think, who used to bring you here as a kid?
Man, me. Man, just my 8-year-old self just thought, you know, just being in this position was something, you know, out of reach. It's a dream. And just to be in this position, all I can do is just thank God. You know, I'm just so blessed. Just my journey, just everything that I've been through, and to be able to perform at a high level just in a big game is just a blessing. And I don't want to talk about my grandpa too much. It's going to make me emotional, but I just know he's looking down on me, just smiling.
I mean, pretty cool moment for a guy that had those memories growing up, his grandfather bringing him to games, and then you fast forward 15 years later, and he's out there playing a big part in Louisville's first win in the rivalry in 5 years. Roman, that's pretty cool.
Very, very cool. You could tell, I mean, he was trying to pick his words wisely there just so he didn't get emotional.
Yeah. I mean, the videos last night of just the pure, see the video that like the official
kids outside?
The kids outside, the guy who's like, I'm a bird, baby, I'm flying. Like, we haven't seen that level of passion.
Citez was out there doing the splits. It was great.
Who is?
That's Citez. The clip of the guy out there doing the splits pregame.
Who's Citez, though?
He's famous, Mike. He's famous for being the hype man at any notable event happening in Louisville, pretty much in any realm. Sporting, music,
Okay.
Just atmosphere going on. You might catch him at a Bats game doing this.
Was he the guy who used to tackle people when it was
Yes,
their birthday?
he still does that.
Okay. I do remember that guy. I didn't realize that was the same person.
Same person.
He was doing the split. I saw this. He did it like 5 times.
So that's his go-to move. Then the Jack Harlow song where it's like bow, bow, bow in the background. That's his voice.
Is it really?
Yes. That dance move is called the bow. I'm pretty sure.
I did not realize that at all.
Yelling bow as he does it.
Yeah, that video, like that level of passion it has been just so absent. Even last year when we were good, I think that there was more reservation. The fan base almost didn't want to believe that it was real, and we hadn't had. I mean, this is the biggest win. Forget about the rivalry element of it. Just beating a top 10 team. This is the biggest win that we've had in what, like 5 years since the 2020-2021 team beat Duke, maybe. And even that, that Duke team wasn't that great. I don't think they ended up even making the NCAA tournament that year. So
who was on that Duke team?
It was the Matthew Smart team, and they knocked us out. Remember, they knocked us out of the ACC tournament, and then they got COVID, and they couldn't play. Matthew Hurt, not Matthew Smart. Matthew Hurt.
I was gonna say Matthew Smart.
Yeah,
okay.
they thought they were going to be. We beat them twice in the regular season, then they beat us in the ACC tournament. So yeah. Sorry, what is somebody saying? Never mind. Somebody just sent me something. But that video, like the kids running around. I mean, the little kid running around saying "This ain't the same Ville," doing the Terrence Edwards voice. Like, I don't know, man. Like that did something to me last night. It's been such an aggravating wait. And last night, as much as it was about taking control of the rivalry, at least for this year, I think it was also about the realization and the confirmation that this can be a special season, that we're back to like dreaming about last year, as good as we were, dreaming about that team playing for a national title. It never felt like a reality. It never felt realistic. When we talked about that team going to the NCAA tournament, we were like, maybe they could win a couple games, make the second weekend, and then you see what happens.
Yeah, we knew it'd have to be perfection for it to align like that.
This team, long way to go. We're 10 days into the season. But that performance, especially when we were hitting on all cylinders at various points in that game, against what I still think is going to be a very good Kentucky team when all said and done, that allows you to dream the biggest of dreams and have it not feel like it's unrealistic. And I think that played a part in the unbridled enthusiasm that you saw from everybody last night, because we have not had that level of win since the second year of the Chris Mack era. You've got, I mean, think about every Louisville basketball alum that I follow on social media, they put something on Twitter or Instagram or whatever about it. You've got, the superstars showing back up for this game. It just felt like a moment that we've been waiting for, I mean, depends on where you are. For some of us, like 8 years. And it feels awfully good to be back in this position. And it also feels awfully good to be able to say bleep them to UK and pull off that victory. And now the best part is this kind of kicks off the non-conference rivalry tour. It's not like we've got more rivals to take care of, more people that have had lots of things to say over the past 4 or 5 years. Cincinnati, you're coming up next a week from Friday. We got Indiana coming up next month. We got Memphis State coming up next month. Tennessee's a little bit of a rival. We got Kenny Payne and John Calipari coming up at the beginning of the month. The fun is just getting started, Roman. The fun is just getting started. Whew! Got goosebumps.
And it makes you feel like the way you performed in that game, I mean, like winning that game would have obviously made you feel better about, not better, it makes me feel better about going forward in some of these big non-con games that we've got, Mike, but performing that way, where we had the moments where the three ball was falling, had the moments where we were getting into the lane, had the moments where we were turning defense into offense, out-rebounding them for big stretches in that game as well. We did it in multiple different ways, and knowing that that's going to be able to be something we can have in these big games going forward versus something we want to see be improved and improved and improved in these big games, that feels really good, right? It's almost like we have to remind ourselves that it may not look that good in certain moments in these games going forward just based on how the other league, non-con teams are going to defend us, right? They've got some more defenders on some of these other teams. But to see us do it like that this early in the season, when we had question marks on how things were going to look in those big games going forward for what felt like a month into the season last year, feels amazing. Feels amazing.
This is not good for radio, Roman. I'm begging you to watch the video that Dugan just texted to both of us. So Dugan Ryan, our boss, who I saw at the football game on Saturday.
No way.
I mean, he's doing a jig in the Yum Center lobby after last night's game. I mean, in the middle of a circle of people kicking the legs out. That's unbridled passion.
He's got UK fans cheering him on.
I'm holding it up for the camera there so you can see on the YouTube stream. I think that's the right camera. I don't even know if it's right.
Wrong. There you go.
That one?
Yeah.
Watch Dugan. Watch the boss man. Just show off the move.
Oh, you're on a different video now.
Damn it. This is technology. Here we go. Look at this guy. Look at this guy doing his thing. Look at that guy. Someone's boss right there. This is what we give you to get the big X. That's the passion that we bring on a day-to-day basis, for God's sake.
That's ridiculous. Shout out to Dugan.
Shout out to Dugan.
Getting out there making a difference last night.
My God. Getting drunk, getting loud, making a difference. The passion's back, for God's sake. I can't wait for the 5 months ahead. I'm still very focused on football. And if we get the win over Clemson on Friday, we'll do some chest thumping. We'll do some scoreboard watching on Saturday. We'll do some dreaming. But my God, how can you not just be all in on this upcoming basketball season? I mean, I can't tell you the number of people that I haven't talked to in a long time that have texted me over the last 16 hours just crying happy tears, acting like it, virtual happy tears. By the way, one guy that I want to mention that we haven't talked about, he didn't play a ton. I thought Kobe Rogers did a nice job when he was in there. Like you worry when Michael comes out of the game. You obviously know that there's going to be a slight dip in the efficiency on offense, but you want to make sure that you just don't get killed when he's on the bench. Kobe had a great steal. He had a great take for a bucket. Ran the offense effectively. I thought he defended really well.
Yep.
That'll be his role. Now he'll
Brought
play
the energy.
He always brings the energy. He'll play more minutes. He only played 7 last night. He'll play more minutes in some bigger games. He's going to have to. But I think having that guy that you can fall back on, because Michael's probably going to get in foul trouble at some point. He'll probably have a game where he needs more of a rest than he had to get last night. There will come a time where we have to rely on Kobe Rogers being a very effective point guard for us to beat somebody of consequence. And last night, I think he at least gave a glimpse that he's capable of doing that. I thought he played really well while he was in there. I mean, there was nobody that played really poorly. I thought even Kanai, he's got nothing on the stat sheet, basically.
He didn't make any wrong decisions. He didn't do anything bad.
He didn't hurt us. He may not have helped us dramatically, but he did his part defensively. Had a big tip out at one point late in the game. Everyone played well for the most part. And nobody played besides Michael, I felt like, out of their mind good. We can be better moving forward, which is very, very exciting. Also exciting, the Gameday men's health text line, 502-414-1450. Want to make sure we get to as many as we can on the text line today. It's a day of celebration, for God's sake. We want you to have your voice heard on the radio show. Texter says, I loved towards the end of the game when they double-teamed Michael. He fed off that to pass a bullet for an easy bucket. Yes. I don't get freaked out when Michael gets pressured, you know? And it's crazy because he's a 19-year-old kid. And we've had good 23, 22-year-old junior, senior point guards in the past that I've not had that same level of comfort with in those types of situations. And it's early, and maybe that'll change. But there is and the announcers talked about it at length last night, there's a calmness to him that you don't, forget about the age, you just don't see from college point guards all that often. He just has this air of, I've prepared my whole life for this. Why would I be nervous? He's like barely sweating when he's playing 33 minutes. He just has, and I hate using phrases like this, but like whatever special, it factor, whatever you want to say, that unquantifiable.
He's a pro, Mike.
He's a pro. He's a top 5 pick. He's going to be the best point guard in next year's draft, and he shows it every time he's out there on the court. He was the difference last night. We probably could have won that game without him.
Would not have looked like that.
Would not have looked like that at all. We would have had to have done it in a very different way. He was the difference maker. And having that guy We've just never had that luxury when it comes to having a top 10 NBA talent type pick to go out there and say, hey, things are getting a little dicey. Can you go get a bucket for us, buddy? And him be like, no problem. I got it. Did it last night. Put everybody at ease. Could not have been more impressive. Texas, gentlemen, I'm sorry for the long message, but I need some help. A so-called UK friend of mine broke into my house while I was at work yesterday and left 100 blue balloons in my basement. He hung hundreds of blue and white streamers and scattered probably 50 UK stickers everywhere. I refused to give him the pleasure of knowing that it got me, so I texted him from my wife's phone saying she cleaned it up and apologizing for ruining the joke. He's mad at her now, but in reality, it took almost an hour to clean up. Now it's time for retaliation. I'm thinking about a dozen different magazine subscriptions, signing him up for U of L emails and notifications at the very least. But help me get this guy back. What should I do? First of all, I think you handled this perfectly. Perfectly. Like, you didn't let him know that you had to clean up all the mess and that you were pissed off about it. You make him feel bad that his wife, like, you act like you didn't even see this. My wife, congratulations, you made my wife clean up for an hour. What an a-hole. I've got one website for you. Everyone write this down if you find yourself in this situation. Poopsenders.com. Poopsenders.com. How do I know about poopsenders.com? Don't worry about it. Did I recently get an email letting me know that poopsenders.com is about to have a Black Friday deal coming up? Yeah. Holiday savings are coming up. There's an image of Santa crapping down a chimney on their website right now if you want to take advantage. Here's the thing. You go to poopsenders.com. They have a variety of poop that you can send anonymously to anybody in the world. If you know your buddy's address, you can send him elephant poop, monkey poop, cow poop, variety of colors, shapes, sizes. They'll do it. It's 100% anonymous. Your buddy will have no idea who sent him a package of crap. That's one way. Signing him up for emails and so, like, rival fans have been doing this to me for years. So
sending you poop.
No, not sending me poop. Signing me up for, like, gay dating websites, like farmersonly.com and stuff like this. And guess it's very, all you have to do is hit an unsubscribe button. It happens to me all the time. Poopsenders.com, it gets to you. You're like, who is sending me a combo pack of gorilla poop and elephant crap? When my best friend moved to Texas, he's not listening to this, so I can say it. We got very drunk at a Mexican restaurant and poop sent him, and he was horrified. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I just moved here. Do they want me out of town? He was terrified. We still to this day have not let him know who did it.
Go get the cheapest, biggest little stick in your yard U of L flags you can find. Go get like 200 of them, and every single day, drive to his front yard, put it in the same spot.
I like that. But also poopsenders.com. They got a 3-pound of festive holiday poop deal on Black Friday for $49.95. It was $99.95. Limited time offer though.
New U of L bumper sticker on his bumper every day.
Oh, that's a good idea. I mean, that's a bold move by your buddy. That's a lot of it. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, he must have a key as well.
As someone who blew up a bunch of balloons for my kid's balloon arch for his birthday, just a couple of, like, my hands are still blistered from tying all those balloons. So I laugh all you want, Roman. It was hard for me to type for like 2 days. It's terrible. It's a lot of effort for a game that you're not 100% sure you're going to win. The guy deserves to have poop sent to his house. Poopsenders.com. I'm not even going to tell this story. Texture says Kentucky goes down.
No, you can't do that.
I can't do it. All of BBN is wearing a frown. The Cards wear the bluegrass crown. In boners, we all drown. I forgot this is the guy who does poems and always ends them with boner talk. I love it. This is the day for boner talk. Texas, I'm in love with this year's team, and what they did last night will bring me happiness for life. But I wanted to shout out last year's team. They laid the groundwork and paved the way for these guys to trust the system and make the jump to come here. We don't have these guys, in my opinion, if we are fresh off of our 2KP seasons. Shout out to the whole Revival squad.
Yep.
I don't think we have these guys if we're off of a Pat Kelsey, 18-win season, you know?
You're probably right.
It's tougher. It's not like...
Money talks, but you're probably right.
But it's not like Ryan Conwell, Isaac McNeely, and Adrian Woolley didn't have, I think, equal monetary offers from other schools.
I mean, McNeely could have rightfully went back with what probably would have got more money, more shots, and a better system.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ryan Odom
not more money
than
here, but more money than he had previous in his last year at Virginia.
I mean, you're right. Kids want to get paid. There's no way around that. Kids also want to win. Most of them.
True.
Some are just in it for a bag, but you want to maximize your college experience, and as long as you get the financial component settled, if it's between financial component at a whatever school where we maybe make the NCAA tournament and financial component at a school where I can go win a national title, almost every competitive basketball player is going to pick the school where they can win a national title.
That could be the difference between playing in Lithuania and Spain.
Sure. And I think if you didn't have the type of season that we had a year ago, you wouldn't have the faith in Pat Kelsey's ability to lead this program to a national championship. And if you didn't have the season that you had a year ago, you don't have the fans back, which I think is a big part of the selling point here. That atmosphere last night, I know we've got guys that have played for big-time programs. No disrespect to...
That's a sales pitch.
Yeah, no disrespect to Xavier. Xavier-Cincinnati is a big-time rivalry. But you don't get 23,000 fans going nuts from start to finish for any other game at Xavier, for any game when you're playing for Xavier, and John Paul Jones Arena at its best has a great environment, but more times than not in recent years they haven't had that. This was a different level for Isaac McNeely. It was the type of environment that you get a guy like Michael Brown to sign up for. By the way, we had questions. The two Kentucky freshmen had put up productive numbers in their first two games, and we were kind of wondering if they were for real. Moreno was very bad defensively, I thought, yesterday. Jasper Johnson, I mean, he did nothing.
Didn't look ready.
He
looked ready for the moment.
And I saw my guy Logan Wade tweet this out, and I totally agree with this. And I guess maybe it sounds like sour grapes, but this is why I'm not shedding tears over us not getting Tay Kinney. Maybe this is an old man take. I don't trust anybody coming out of OTE. I just don't. It's TikTok basketball.
Yeah, if you're not a freak athlete like the Thompson twins, because even Dillingham, I mean, he's slowly having to make his way up in the NBA and fight for minutes.
They're not learning how to play the type of basketball that you're going to be asked to play at college and then certainly at the pro level. And readjusting to that, I think, takes some time. And maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe Tay Kinney's going to go out there and light it up next year, and we'll look at him as the one that got away. But until I get proven wrong on that take, I will shed no tears when it comes to us losing out on kids that play in OTE. I would prefer us to stay away. I don't think anything good happens there. Texture says, hey, Mike, where do I begin? I don't know if any of your listeners are young enough to be considering where to go to college, but I will say this. Words couldn't begin to describe the experience of sitting in the front row of that student section. Oh, you lucky bastard. Surrounded by 23,000 people watching the Cards put belt to ass. In every pitch I make about attending U of L, last night will be the first point that I bring up. Speaking of the game, is there any player in the history of college basketball who has had worse consecutive experiences at the Yum Center than Jalen Lowe? What a bum. And if Frew continues this incremental trajectory, it logically follows that he will be the world's greatest basketball player ever by March. Go Cards. Hopefully this enthusiasm leads to a great crowd on Friday. Beat Clemson. Beat Ohio. I'm jealous of that guy. Front row of the student section for that game last night. That's an all-time college memory.
Yeah, that's one thing I do wish I would have gotten to do when I was a student.
I also want to see I still never got a picture of the Greek row banner with my quote on it for the UK hate banner. Someone needs to send that in. If it's still up, find it. Send it in. Props to you, U of L student. Student section last night, incredible.
Did its job.
Like I said, even when things were going great with Rick Pitino and Denny Crum in the old Freedom Hall days, the one of the common consistent complaints that we all had as fans was we wish we had a cool student section, adding to the atmosphere there. We got a little bit of momentum. Shout out to my guy Ethan Sprouse, who came on the show, kind of spearheaded that movement a handful of years ago. And then COVID happens, and then the team sucks, and we've got no student. And you can't blame students for not showing up to these Kenny Payne games. But my God, last night, that was a dream. Like, that's the type of atmosphere that we've been wanting from our student section for as long as I've been alive. And if they can maintain that, and they were good for the first 2 games as well. It was full. They were cheering. It's different. If they can maintain that for our big games for the remainder of the season, that's a huge advantage. We got Duke coming to town in early January. We'll have Memphis State in town next month. I know the home schedule isn't as loaded, but you got to take care of business in ACC play. And having that extra bounce, that extra buzz in the building when you're playing an ACC team that maybe is on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament, that helps to keep the team focused and recognize the significance of still going out there and winning that game. So props to the students last night. Let's keep it going. You guys rule. Let's take a break. When we come back, final segment of the day. We'll get to as many texts as we can. We'll look ahead to the night that will be in sports, and we'll make some predictions, and then we'll hand things off to Roman Kelly and the Ticket Punchers. But keep it locked right here. One more segment on the way next. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450 96.1, The Big X.
Yes, I tried. Yes, I
Don't stop dancing, Roman. It's too early with the one more time. It's the 5 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. One guy who I know last night was dancing into the wee hours of the morning was our boy Tony Collier. He and the Collier Law Firm, they are your place to go if you've been injured in an accident or on the job. Diehard Card fans, lifelong Louisvillians. More importantly, they know how to make sure that you get the most money for your recovery and keep the most money for your recovery, which is why their attorney fees start at just 25%. Call the Collier Law Firm today at 502-736-8141 or visit them online at collierlawfirm.com, COLYER lawfirm.com. Hurt in an accident or hurt on the job, Collier Law Firm. What are you laughing at?
No, it was burped without opening my mouth. It was an interesting noise.
Burped without opening your mouth?
Well, yeah, because I didn't feel it coming, so I couldn't turn my mic off in time.
Just snuck up on you.
Just choked, basically.
Just like Sonanda Frew last night. Have we gotten any confirmation on
like
the
that
Sonanda? What?
Kenny Payne.
Don't say that.
It snuck up on him.
He tricked me. He tricked us. I don't think we've gotten any confirmation on the Sonanda versus Sananda argument.
I'm calling him Sonny. I don't want to get it wrong.
Look, people keep calling him Sananda, and then Kelsey after the game last night said Sananda. So once again, this is very much a Keon Brown situation. I'm going with what the head coach says. He's Sananda until I'm told otherwise. Sananda, I don't care what you call him. Dude was a beast last night.
He was everywhere, Mike. I felt like he knew where to be within the offense. Every time the ball moved, you saw him move.
I can't get over how good he was.
Every time the ball moved, you saw him move, which is, I feel like he's finally in understanding where he's supposed to be within the offense now, kind of getting that comfortability. And then he's a ball hawk with the on the glass.
The block that he had against Jalen Lowe last night.
He was the best athlete on the floor last night.
Ooh, you think so?
I think so.
Whew, that's high praise. The block he had against Jalen Lowe, I thought, was remarkably impressive. Because that was one of those plays where, like, Lowe very clearly, they ran the high pick and roll. Frew switches off. And Lowe is like, all right, well, I'm gonna drive straight into him. I'm going to get the foul call. And Frew backpedal, hands straight up.
Vertical, yep.
Shoots right into him, vertical, grabs the ball in one motion, starts to break the other way.
Contested a couple other ones without fouling as well.
He had 2 blocks in the game. Yeah, I mean, he was. It was just. I know that Pat Kelsey, and he's got a better eye for basketball than all of us, so it shouldn't be a surprise that he saw this. And he kept telling us, like, you guys aren't seeing it. He's playing really well. I certainly wasn't seeing it. Last night, he looked like a guy where, man, if he plays that way in the NCAA tournament against these best teams with these great bigs, we can beat just about anybody. Like, that was as exciting as it was to see Michael go out there and give us his first real true superstar performance in a big spot. You thought we expected him to do that at some point this season. I don't know if we had gotten to a point where we just expected Sonanda Frew to play like the big that we were hoping he was going to be. I mean, he was the big focal point of disappointment when you discuss the 2 exhibition games and even the first 2 regular season games.
Of not seeing the expectation.
Yeah. Of like, it's fine.
Bad.
No, he was fine, but it was, you can beat South Carolina State and Jackson State to a pulp with this guy. Can you beat Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, whoever, with Sonanda Frew playing this way at center?
Yep.
And, I mean, he was a revelation last night. Like, I was giddy over how well he played, not just because he helped us beat Kentucky, but because it made me feel like a deep run in the NCAA tournament, a potential top 5 team.
The finish off
more
the
realistic
pass from Michael.
Yeah, I mean, crammed on a dude, showed off great hands. I thought he was.
Did he get an offensive rebound and cram too?
He had a couple offensive rebounds where I think the fan base was dying for him to go right back up with it. But he's like, our guys are told, if you get an offensive rebound and you don't have a crystal clear point blank dunk, you kick the ball back outside for a 3. I mean, we were told that last year, especially now that you've got 3 elite shooters on the floor at virtually all times. That's what they're told. I think that it's a rule of thumb that goes against most people's basketball knowledge, because if you played basketball at the age of like 8 or any time really, if you got an offensive rebound, every coach in middle school and grade school is like, go back up with it. Go back. And so we all instinctively say the same thing. And the reality is a lot of times referees swallow their whistles in those situations because they're like, there's this, I think, subconscious deal where it's like, they're already getting a second chance opportunity. They don't need the foul call.
The defender's usually staying on the ground, too, sometimes.
And
they're fouling, but they're going vertical in the eyes of the ref.
It's always kind of blown my mind that if you're in a situation where you're close to the basket, but a big-time center is in perfect guarding position, you would never tell your player to go straight up with it if it were an offensive possession and you dumped it. You'd be like, kick it out. And why are we different coming off of offensive rebounds? And so Pat Kelsey, he has the right methodology of if you're wide open, easy putback, by all means, take the 2 points. If you're not,
there's a better shot.
There's a better shot on the outside. It's the best time to shoot a three, kick it out. And I think Frew did a great job of that last night. And his last offensive rebound, that was the moment where it was like, all right, game over. Wrap it up. Start the countdown. Let's go. Just a phenomenal game. And his passing, I thought, was remarkably underrated. 3 assists, found the right guys at the right times. I think maybe Khalifa's rubbing off a little bit on him in that respect, but just a big-time performance by what we hope is going to be a big-time player for the remainder of the season. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line. We'll get to as many of these as we can before the end of the show, and then we will pick what you got?
Sorry. I was going to say we hit the Isaac McNeely 3+ 3s last night on the ticket puncher, so that was cool.
Boom. How were the other bets?
Well, we had 2 bets. We all give out 2. I went 1-1 in my 2. My parlay bet hit. Somebody else's didn't. But it's all good. 2-1 on the parlay bet. It's all good.
By the way, the one thing we have not touched on, college football playoff rankings came out last night. Louisville only down 5 spots to number 20. I still think you've got no real shot of climbing 9 spots to be an at-large team, but we're still in the top 20, so that's nice, right?
A little bit, yeah.
it's better than not being in the top 20, I guess. But we're like the 5th ranked ACC team, which is kind of crazy to me. But
were you surprised to see Miami get that big of a?
Yeah, but now it's like because we've got 2 losses, and they don't have to compare us. I feel like they're
back to being the highest looked at ACC.
Yeah, and you can just they beat Notre Dame, and they're doing all they can to justify Notre Dame being number 9.
Yeah,
and having a basically win and you're in type thing, and bringing Miami back up the rankings now it goes a long way towards
rank losses.
Get out of my face, whatever. We can't complain about it though. We lost to Cal, so we'll complain about it if the rankings are bad next week and we've beaten Clemson.
You want to hear someone getting into it and breaking it down? Go to the Real Spiel podcast. Our boy Abelson doing his part, breaking it down, giving his takes on it, and how that kind of in the stance of the ACC mindset as well. Just released his reaction to that today.
Nice. Shout out to our boy Abelson. Love it.
Still need to get him on the show.
Whenever he wants to come on, bring him on.
I think he's nervous.
Text says, based on what you saw last night, could you see this team being ranked number 1 at some point this year?
Yes.
Sure. I mean, look, we've got our December is brutal. But we've got a stretch here where if you take care of Cincinnati, who beat Dayton last night, looked pretty good. I think Dayton's is bad. I'm more worried about the Flyers. They didn't look very good. But if you beat Cincinnati, who's probably going to be 4-0, up there on what is technically a neutral site game in Cincinnati, you don't really have another test until December 3rd at Arkansas. So we probably should be 4-0, 5-0, 6. We should be 7-0 going into December. We'll jump up the rankings this week to probably the top 10. Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to have to win a handful of big, important games in December because a couple of the teams that are in the top 5 right now have pretty light slates coming up. But some of these guys are going to pick each other off because there's some big-time non-con games coming up over the next 3 weeks. So it's possible. But I think we'd probably have to run the table in the non-conference. And then maybe by late December, we'd have a shot to get up there.
Yeah.
Texas, Mike, I'm fully erect from last night. Should I be worried? No, this is normal. Tried to watch Jalen Lowe highlights to fix it, but even that isn't working. F him and Clemson, too. There's no solution for it. You just got to chill. Just wait. Texas, Pryor only got to FUK for 2 minutes. I certainly hope he gets more run with his girlfriend.
Crazy text.
That's a D-plus joke. Come on, man. Come on. Texas says, Mike, when you said on Monday's pod, do whatever it takes, I felt like you were speaking directly to the texter that had extracurricular with his wife during the Vautech halftime. Well, he cost us the Cal game. She stepped up and was like, I'm willing to do what it takes the night before. And he was like, no, I'm tired.
Can't be. You got to do the small things.
Texas says, the whitest thing I've ever heard, I named my bonsai tree after Javon. I'm a 41-year-old white father of two.
What do you expect?
What do you expect out of me?
I got one of those bonsai starter kits.
Okay.
The little box.
Nice.
Then you got to. Didn't realize it takes like 6 months to get started.
Oh, so you're doing like the full-on.
Full-on from the seed.
See, I tried that once. I couldn't do it. I'm not there yet.
To the point now where Holly's the one watering it every other day.
You guys did it.
Well, we're still watering it. You got to water it for 3 months every other day.
I love you. I mean, you can just buy like a $20 one off Amazon.
Yeah, I'm going.
Juniper. That's pretty easy. That's the way to get started.
But I'd like to see if we can make it happen from the seed.
Texas Matt, Chili's Childress can't watch a game anywhere else. I love that the Childress fam just like took over Chili's last night for the game. I wish I could have been there too. Texas Boxcar Bob here. Text Groove sucks ass. That's on YouTube. Sorry, Boxcar Bob. Texas says Jingle Bells, Garrison smells, Lowe stepped out of bounds, Frew locked in, and Brown went ham. And Kaysen says F them.
Love it.
That's pretty good. I like this. Texas, howdy, man. Parksy Baby here. Not Parksy Boy. Remember, not Parksy Boy. I wasn't able to watch the game live, but I was following along sporadically on the ESPN app. I finally got to watch the replay last night while holding the newborn and watched it again when he was up at 4:30 this morning. When you know you're going to win, it's even more fun to watch it all unfold. Also, every single time someone blocked a shot, Billis would say, he saved a basket there. Yeah, Jay, that's how it works. He said it like 6 times. And I don't know why, but it annoyed me. Go Cards. He did. It was always on fast break opportunities. It was like, Hadley saved a basket there. I'm like, yeah, that is how. Maybe he would have missed it.
I was like live commentating the game, just not practice or anything, like just thoughts out loud because I was with a girlfriend and a buddy, and I wasn't even really hearing Bilas all night. Felt like.
Did you call him Bilas?
Bayless.
Skip Bayless? It's Billis.
Bilas. Same thing.
We don't need to know his name. We drug him for a national title in 1986. Suck it, Jay. There was a moment last night where, so my wife, God love her, was getting the kids down so that I could watch the game. And there was a moment where she needed me to go grab something from the basement for Virginia. And, like, my nerves were sky high at this point. It was when it was relatively close in the first half, and I paused it. And it was so nice, like just knowing that stuff was happening and I was disconnected for a second. There was a part of me that was like, I kind of just want to walk away for an hour and just find out what happened. I was like, this is too much. I lay down before the game in bed for like 5 minutes and just was like, just breathe.
Looking at the ceiling.
It was like 7:45, and I was like, all right, Mary's like, where are you? I was like, just give me 5 minutes here. I need to decompress. The heart rate's going too high. This isn't healthy. Texter says, does Conwell remind you of DeAndre Liggins? He's a much better outside shooter than DeAndre Liggins, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's a better ball handler too.
DeAndre Liggins was taller, I want to say. I'm going to say no. No. I don't see it. Texas is Isaac Brown, Michael Brown, Kewan Brown, Brown Foreman. Give me all the Browns.
Wait, unless you mean looks.
They look a lot. I can see that a little bit. Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
Looks, I mean.
I don't think they play a lot.
I was going to remind you of.
Yeah. Okay. If that's what he's talking about, then yes. Texas says, I'm also not comfortable with that last text. Texter says, this is the first-time texter, Cowboy. I don't care about UK not rounding into shape when we had a true freshman come out and look like a pro. If he can do it, then a guy in his third year of college can too.
Cowboy.
Well done. Perfect.
From Washington State.
That's the texter. Texter sends in a picture. Did you see Ethan Sprouse, founder of the Villains, get an L's up on KSR? I did see that last night. Shout out to our guy Ethan. Friend of the program. Been on the show. Texas says, this is the state of Louisville. F 'em. L's up, L's up, L's up. Agreed. Texas, I think the spread was accounting for our guy G-Fed being in the house. Do you see that guy?
I saw he was there, yeah.
He's there every time he goes. He's bringing in dubs. Texas says, why no zoo? Why only 2 minutes for Pryor? This wasn't a zoo game. I thought we'd see a little bit of him.
Didn't have the skill for this game.
Yeah, this isn't a zoo game.
He had the physicality for this game, so I was still kind of surprised to not even see a spurt.
I thought he'd play like 2, 3, 4 minutes, something like that. I was surprised that he didn't get in at all. But Zoo will have his time. He'll play in a big game at some point. Kanai's still playing tight. What's it take to get him loose in these big games? I think he needs more minutes in big games, but also I get that we need to also win.
That's the tough thought I had, too, is that the only way you fix Kanai's behavior in these kind of super aggressive, hands on you every time you touch the ball, but also big connotations on the game as well, he needs to just play more. He has to get out there and work through that.
I mean, I had friends that were like, why are we not seeing Kanai? I'm like, because we're up 16. like, let's not worry about it. It's working. I think that everybody's right. But, yeah, like last night was a game that you needed to win.
Yeah, you don't have time to risk Kanai working through the pressure of a big game.
And the good thing is we got 5 more big non-conference games over the next, 4 weeks. He's going to have an opportunity to go out there and prove it against somebody with a pulse.
Winning one helps.
Yeah, for sure. And now we've got a little bit of a safety net with this win. Texas says, the Hexler, I was only mad at Hadley for the missed free throws because I don't want the FBI saying it was fixed. Vegas is insane. 7 straight was crazy. Especially, I mean, Javon's a good free throw shooter.
Is he, though?
He was last year.
What did he shoot last year?
He had to be like 75%, right?
I feel like it was like 72%.
That's not. You still shouldn't miss 6 straight or whatever it was.
72% is bad to me.
Well, you are. I mean, we know you're a career
90%
free throw shooter. 77.1% last year. That's a good free throw shooter.
That's good.
The year before, 83.9%.
What's he at this year? He's going down.
25%.
I really do think it's what is it? Is it ball spin? I pay attention to people's free throw routines for some reason because I learned from Coach Davenport at Bellarmine. If you got to do the same thing every single time on your routine at the same speed if you want to have good consistency. Javon's changing the speed up every time. He's doing the same thing every time, which you got to do, but the rate that the last dribble touches his hand, the time frame from the last time it touches his hand to where it goes up, it's too fast. Take a deep breath after that last dribble, Jerome.
Okay.
That's all I ask.
Texas Mike, whenever you have UK fans trying to hate on Twitter, do you ever hit them with a smell you later? No. It's never come into my mind. Texas says, I hope they chant FUK every year. Why not? Texas pressure's on Jeff Brom on Friday.
Kind of.
I could see it. Yeah, if you don't want it to be basketball season officially, yeah, you probably need to beat Clemson.
Pressure's been on every game, though.
Texas Mike, interesting. We won by 8. They won by 8 last year. Roman, yeah, and the point total for both teams is equal too, 181 to 181. Yeah, math. I didn't say anything. Texas Mike, I'm hungover as bleep on a Wednesday. So worth it. Go Cards. I drank nothing last night. I felt hungover when I woke up. I was like, did I drink last night and forget about it? And it's like, no, I just got no sleep and was emotionally drained. Texas, where do you think we'll be ranked during the next poll? I mean, I think we'll probably swap with UK, right? We're 12 right now. Texas Tech lost last night. I mean, I think we'll jump Florida after them almost losing to Florida State. We'll obviously jump Kentucky. Maybe some people will move us ahead of Michigan. I think we'll be 9, if I had to guess. And that's before seeing.
Where's Florida right now?
Florida's 10.
Yeah, they'll put Florida.
They've already got a loss, and they should have lost last night.
Where's Michigan right now?
6. I don't think we'll jump them. We should, because they've not really shown anything. We've also got Purdue plays Alabama not tonight, tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think I'll put us at 7 or 8.
How are you feeling about Purdue Bama?
Give me Bama.
I think Purdue's going to win that game, but I do kind of like Bama more so far this season. And there's another. UConn plays BYU on Saturday, so one of those teams will lose. If it's BYU, we'll probably move ahead of them. If it's UConn, we probably won't. I'm going to say 9.
BYU's losing.
I think so, too. Texas, the best part of listening on the radio was the guy who hollered when Michael had the cramp. Shake that S off, Michael. You're fine, kid.
I freaked out for
Oh,
literally like 10 seconds.
I thought my life was ending.
For 10 seconds, I thought he tore his Achilles, and I'm like, okay, no. The way he's holding that's a cramp. We're good.
I just kept waiting to see how he got up. I was like, put pressure on it. Okay, all right, we're good. But they show Pat Kelsey's face. They show they're showing crowd shots like somebody just got murdered on the court. I was like, okay, calm down a little bit here.
I somehow missed him, kind of tweak it before the jumper.
I did too.
So I thought everything happened right on the landing of the jumper, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, no contact, leg injury, he's down.
That's his career.
Same. And then they showed him kind of clearly cramping up a few
before that on the drive.
Seconds before, yeah. Texas, the thing that I'm most excited about besides getting the UK monkey off our back is instead of sleepwalking through a game with a low major this early, we see how good our apex can be, and then you realize we have 4 months to get even better. That makes me more excited about our chances than anything else. Yeah, no question about it. Texter says, my wife asked if they picked up Khalifa at an over 30 league at the Y downtown.
Ollie's made some comments about Khalifa, too.
Mary did, too, last night. I mean, if you don't know, if you haven't seen him, he stands out.
It's like they're not anything bad she's saying, but I still can't repeat it.
She also was making an active attempt to learn all the players' names. And I'm like, not right now, please. We'll watch the Ohio game together on Saturday, and you can learn. She's like, now, where did he come from? I'm like, it's a 4-point game. Texas says, I'm envious of anybody that's able to watch this game without a rooting interest. Chris Hadfield tweeted that last night. It was so true. I mean, perfect game to watch if you've got no rooting interest. The first half, I mean, the first TV time, I was like, I can't do 36 more minutes of this. It was insane.
It was.
Made three, made two, dunk, I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't handle this. We handled it. Texas, fantastic. First-time texter. Fantastic atmosphere last night. Really proud of Card Nation. What a game. Having a dude who can take over a game is a game changer. We could be witnessing the next player to get his number retired. I don't think we can retire a kid who's one and done.
Nope.
Unless he wins National Player of the Year and National Championship. No. Texas, was that post-game picture of the Louisville fan that got his ass whooped at the concourse real?
Yes.
I've heard somebody said they have the video of the fight, but they're
seen the video.
You've seen it?
It's actually a friend of a friend, the UK fan is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're saying there was some inappropriate terminology used. I don't know how true that is.
Oh. Someone just messaged me and sent me a picture and was like, I'm not sharing the video, but I've got it.
Yeah, he was leaking.
Yeah, I saw the picture of the guys with the nose popped. Yeah. Texas, I don't remember who it was with, I think McNeely, but the fast break with Javon where the ball literally didn't touch the floor was beautiful. Yeah. Oh, it was McNeely and Javon.
Great. I thought they made one pass too extra.
So did I.
Somebody's going to get. Well, I thought it would lead to free throws, and they weren't going to convert.
Texas, does Poop Centers do pee as well? No, come on, it's classy. It doesn't do pee as well. It's poopcenters.com. They let you know what they're all about right with the name. Texas, Daniel Ramser here. What's up, Daniel? First-time texter. Obviously very promising for U of L. I think the next step for the team is being mature enough to trust their offense and their ability to get great shots. I think they bailed at UK out multiple times when they had a chance to put them away by taking some quick bad threes. Part of it could have been the rivalry and players wanting to make the dagger shot, but UK had no chance to guard them. Limiting the wasted possessions with those types of shots is what I think the next step for this team is. They're going to take a lot of shots that look bad. My wife last night was like, they need to slow down. I was like, they're not gonna. It was the beginning of the second half. I'm like, this is the way it's going to be. They're not going to slow down. Texas, is it just me or does Colin Chandler look like a Greek god?
He does.
The old school with the curly hair a little bit.
Yeah, kind of cut build.
He's like the BC Greek god. I think Zugris is the AD.
Yeah.
Greek god.
It's a good point there.
Texas, how much do you think Mark Pope did not want that $22 million roster number to come out from the Herald Leader? Oh, so much so that he was telling their local fan media members that it wasn't true until the Herald Leader got a hold of the records and they were like, yeah, no, it's very true. Texas, BBN is slain. Now the only bum in Fayetteville remains to be defeated before all is right in the world. I mean, that's the next game that we want the most, right? The Arkansas one?
Yep.
I only speak for myself. I hate Memphis State. I hate Cincy. I hate Indiana. I want the Arkansas more than I want anybody else. Texas says, Mike, the Reds just claimed a 190 hitter from the Dodgers. Are we back? Why? I'm about to end the show. Why? Texas, your boy Matt Jones said on his show today that the Louisville loss puts an end to Mark Pope's honeymoon period. Also, apparently, Matt was talking trash to Mero at the Yum Center. What?
Oh, I don't like that. More on that tomorrow. We don't have time to do anything else. Let's get out of here. Ticket punches are up next. The Cards beat the Cats. We're still celebrating it. We're back tomorrow at 2:30. Go Cards. Kentucky sucks.
John Burke's United Mechanical is